So how many cans of beans did you kill for today?
Well, I put on my leather strap, my hockey mask.
Yeah?
I went to this encampment and I demanded they give me all the beans. I told them just to walk away.
Are you more of a tire pauldron kind of a person? Like you're gonna have those big shoulders made out of old tires?
Look, what I'm going to wear is TBD, of course, because who knows what I'll find. I definitely am going to have a pansexual pink mohawked slave riding with me that cackles at everything I do, and then we have sex.
Okay, but how afraid of you are of are you afraid of boomerangs right now?
I would say that I've been unreasonably afraid of boomerangs my entire life. I don't know why.
How can you not know why?
I had a plastic
They're fast and sharp.
Okay, I had a plastic one as a kid. It's one of my early memories from California, and I remember chucking it, and I was like, "This is so cool!" And then it came back towards me.
That boomerang!
I ran the fuck away.
Wait, you actually got it to work?
Yes.
I've never got a boomerang to actually boomerang on me. It's always just kind of flown off, and then goodbye boomerang.
I did it once, and I did not have the power to try again. So I'm 1 for 1 on boomerangs.
Well, I'm gonna be a boomerang apocalyptic man.
That's better than being a boomerang apocalyptic child. Which, wasn't it?
Yeah, no.
Road Warrior wasn't the kid?
Yeah, he was the feral child. Oh. Anyways, welcome to Animorphing Time with Nate and Tyler.
Welcome to Animorphing Time, talking Mad Max with Nate and Tyler.
Yeah, well, I think there's going to be a shift in tone, because we'll be dead.
Yeah, this is going to be very serious. This is going to be a very serious podcast.
Yeah, we're going to make this very serious. And the first serious thing that we're going to talk about is this awesome fucking cover.
Oh, man, the
Actually,
cover.
Before we do that, we need some booze. Don't you agree that we need a drink in these troubled times?
Yeah, my hands are starting to shake. I think I'm getting quitter's flu. I got to have something to drink.
Yeah, well, honestly, by the time that this comes out, I'll probably be so deep into my alcoholism that I'll need to drink every 3 hours.
Dude, I'm not even joking. I had 5 blackberry whiskeys and blackberry seltzers watching The Lighthouse, and I was gone. I was alone in my house in my undershirt and my gym shorts, drunk watching The Lighthouse.
I wish we watched the episode. I wish we read the episode where they turn into seagulls right after you listen to because
it's bad.
They were seabirds. Yeah, you shouldn't kill the seabirds.
Oh, when he smashed that seagull
he just
with the rock.
And it was so long. He did it for 10 minutes.
I think I yelled "hark" when he did that.
How often have you thought of the word "hark" in your day-to-day life?
I think it all the time at work. Okay, so no HIPAA breaking here.
Okay.
But we had a patient come into my ER who was a confirmed corona positive.
Right.
And when they went by on the ambulance gurney to their room, they passed my little work area, and I went "hark!" And then I hissed. And I yelled "COVID." So it's been that good.
And then you went and jerked off to a crude statue of a mermaid.
I did, yeah. It's if I had a steak, I would fuck it. Welcome to Mad Max and Lighthouse Talk, Animorphs Time, Episode 7. They can't tell you their names. They can't tell you where they live, but in the mid to late 90s, these 5 teenagers can turn into animals to fight an invading army of evil brain slugs. 5 dumb teens are the only thing standing in the way of complete annihilation. This is Animorphing Time with Nate and Tyler. Get your hand off my girlfriend, you yerk-brained bastard!
This is for Daddy. Make it like half the bottle.
Catherine Alice Applegate wouldn't want this. Doesn't want this. Blah, 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 blah.
And they're like, no, stop shooting at children.
Oh man, being 12 was weird.
Yeah, let's bust into those drinks. I have a very special drink for you.
This is Nate's making us a special drink, a very special drink.
Yeah, it's the most dignified drink I drink on a regular basis. Like when I want to sit down and really contemplate something thoughtful.
Oh, that's why you were scooping water out of the toilet for it. Got it.
Yeah, this is where I do my thinking on the toilet. So it's where I leave that
I look
good
down
vibe.
In the toilet and I think that's dignity juice.
So here's what I like to call dignity juice. It is black tea mixed with Courvoisier. With a splash of honey.
That's You told me this was something special. You texted me and you said, here's what I have so far for the drink. And you sent me a picture of the Courvoisier. And you said, you might not like the other ingredients. And the other ingredients are black tea and honey.
This is a good drink. I like this drink.
Yeah, pour one up, baby.
All right, hold on. I got to unhook myself from the new studio.
Yeah, Nate's going totally raw. Ugh. I really regret saying that. Here we go. We're having a sip. So if you don't hear us talking, it's because we're sipping. Did you hear that? That's Nate. Here comes me.
Ooh, it's a bit strong.
Oh, I feel more dignified every moment. Whew.
It's good though, right? Like, do you like brandy?
I do like brandy.
Yeah, like the singer.
The singer,
Okay.
my coworker, and the Courvoisier. All three very good things.
Listen, it's VSOP, so I don't know if you know much about brandy, but that means slightly more expensive than cheap brandy.
VSOP?
Very special old pale.
That's my special bucket. I call it my very special old pale. Whatever. You know what? I'm not an expert. I'm not going to claim
Yeah,
to be.
you know what? We're not professionals here. Like, we don't do this for a living. We don't talk for a living.
No.
In fact, most of my day I had to sit in this cave waiting for death.
Like bears. Which
Like
is on
bears.
the cover.
Like the bears in Animorphs. So this is a Rachel book.
This is number 7.
Yeah.
Animorphs number 7, called The Stranger, with the tagline being, "This time there may be no way out."
Could you describe what's going on in the cover right now?
So there's a young blonde girl, orange t-shirt tucked into her black slacks. Honestly, my favorite cover so far.
Oh, I agree. I like the middle transition. That's my favorite.
Where it kind of looks like she's been crying her mascara off with these thick, hairy arms.
It's where she like turns into a real like square shape.
Uh-huh.
Very very angular.
And then you open this bad boy, you get the goodness inside.
Man. Yeah.
There's the standing bear. Mm-hmm. Behind the bear is a tiger, and behind the tiger is a very sad-looking gorilla.
I love that gorilla so much. Every time I see him. Remember the last time we saw him was just staring blankly in an alley after he murdered some people.
Pretty much anytime this gorilla shows up, he's staring blankly, and it looks fucking beautiful.
All right, so The Stranger.
The Stranger. This one, Catherine Alice Applegate says, is for Michael.
Are all of them dedicated to somebody?
I think they're all dedicated to Michael. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Whoever Michael is, he did a great job.
Yep.
Chapter 1, I mean, not much happens. It's the whole, my name is Rachel. I can't tell you.
Even the
who I
book
am.
is bored of it. It's like, you know the drill.
Yeah, and you know the drill. I'm not going to tell you my last name, blah, blah, blah.
Right, the letter to the future.
She lays out that the aliens are here. They've taken people over. And there's this little gem, which I quite enjoyed. So when I say that the aliens are here, don't go looking around for some cute little thing like E.T. You won't see the Yerks. They're parasitic worms, evil gray slugs that live in the heads of humans. She chose E.T., the alien who looks the most like a scrotum.
Like, his eyes are the balls?
Well, you think of him like laying in the ditch all dried out from the sun. He looks like a pair of fucking balls.
Okay, I can kind of see that.
I wouldn't...
Like, well, E.T.'s cute. E.T.'s objectively cute. He's designed to be cute.
He's not. I don't think he's cute. I think he looks scary. He looks like
one of those like Egyptian cats, those like hairless cats.
No, he looks like you look at your grandma's arms when they're like
like real,
and
like
old.
flabby. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
He looks like that. Can you think of a cuter alien? Because I can.
Alf.
All of the Monstars. Marvin the Martian.
I like Alf more.
Alf is a cuter.
Yeah, you figured about like he was fuzzy, man.
He's an alien life form.
Yeah, fur immediately makes you cute.
He's got a nose like a dick, though. You know what? I think I might be the problem.
Yeah, I think
E.T. might be cute.
Yeah,
and I think I might be the problem.
You just everything that you see is just another form of a dick and balls.
Speaking of
dick and balls, she goes on to telling everybody that, like, you know, the paranoia of anyone can be a controller, which we know. Mm-hmm. We've got it.
We catch up.
We're not surprised by anyone being control anymore.
No.
Like, if there's a new character introduced, just assume they're a controller.
So we jump to what is becoming the standard Animorphs book, Cold Open, where one of them does something stupid or risky or whatever or cool. I thought this one was cool. Rachel talks about going to the circus with her dad and coming back later with Cassie.
Yeah, this is the divorced dad date.
Yeah,
that,
they had daddy-daughters day because Rachel's got some sisters.
Yeah.
They went to the zoo, and Rachel said that she was absolutely boiling when she saw the elephant wrangler poking the elephants with, an elephant prod, cattle prod.
Are there even circuses anymore? Like, that was the thing that I really thought about.
No,
when...
Corona's destroyed everything. There's nothing anymore.
Oh, that's right. It's all just fire now.
Yeah.
In the present, in the past, were there circuses?
I think I've gone to one circus in my adult life, and I don't remember an elephant.
All I went to were like monster truck rallies. This was back in Roseburg, Oregon.
Hell yeah.
Call it Roseburg, Oregon.
Fucking monster truck rallies were dope. They get the Truckosaurus up there spitting fire.
Yeah, but no elephants. Like, I never got the elephant treatment.
No. Who do you think would win in a fight? Gravedigger or an elephant?
Gravedigger. It's a car designed to crush other cars.
I think you're really counting down the elephant spirit.
Right. And Rachel's concerned about the elephant spirit because she identifies most with an elephant.
Yeah.
It's her battle morph. It's the way she feels the most powerful.
I'm really happy to hear you use the phrase battle morph, something you made fun of me for saying and having in my brain since I was a child. Thank you. It's what it is.
Yeah, no.
They have travel morphs?
It fell out of my mouth and it was just like, yep, they have forms of morphs now.
I've infected you.
Okay, but like Jake and Marco are not here.
It's
they're
Cassie,
not here.
It's Rachel. Their mission. Rachel's like Cassie.
And Rachel's sister, right? Or Rachel's
they're
dad.
Gone.
Yeah.
Cassie and Rachel come back later.
Okay.
And they're like, we're gonna fuck this elephant guy up. And honestly, I hate it, but Catherine Alice Applegate, I think she made fun of some Polish people in this.
Oh yeah, no, there was made fun of like some indiscriminate Eastern European.
Yes,
name.
Because they talk about the guy who wrangled the elephants, and like, well, his name was Joseph something. And Rachel's like, yeah, something really hard to pronounce. And I'm thinking, oh, so little Catherine Alice Applegate hated the Slavs before it was, common for middle-aged white women to blame everything on Russia.
Listen, she's very busy. She doesn't have the time to memorize every single pronunciation of whatever country they're from.
Yeah, look.
And like, why doesn't he even need to be called out? Just like, he went out there and said his last name. They know his first name already. It's fine.
Yeah, it's like,
his name is Joseph. Just call him Joseph.
I'm Joseph Przbalewski. You like my elephants? Yes. That's what I'm picturing.
Yeah, and then like from there you just go, oh look, it's Joseph.
Yeah.
Get him.
You didn't have to mention they had a funny name. Anyway, Rachel goes into the elephant cage, turns into her massive African elephant, lets loose the horn of war, aka her trunk.
Well, wait, no, she doesn't like jump right into like, pounding butt.
No, she
sneaks into the elephant cage.
Yeah, she goes to the elephant cage, turns into an elephant, and then blasts her trunk horn.
Yeah, and then Joseph, goes up and is like, "Hey, this isn't my elephant. Yeah. Who are you?"
He shows up. He's like, "What's happening here? I can't handle these."
And then she does the coolest thing, which I think should just be done more often, where she thought speaks into him.
Yeah,
and freaks him out. It's like, nobody will believe you.
Yeah, lifts him up, and she's like, "I'm with the secret elephant police, and if you harm these elephants, I'm gonna kill you." And he's like, "Yet, no hurt elephant, no hurt elephant."
We gotta read the whole quote. It's great.
That's it. No, go for it.
Okay, so she's in the cage and she's there and she's scaring him. I lifted him up until he was at my eye level. "Hi, Joseph," I said using ThoughtSpeak.
What the? Who said that? I'm hearing voices.
"Me," I replied. "I said it. See, Joseph, I am from the International Elephant Police, and we've had some complaints about you."
This is crazy. What are you? Is this some sort of joke?
So I squeezed him just a little tighter, just enough so he can breathe very well. "Now listen to me, because I could easily squeeze you out like a tube of toothpaste. So pay attention. You have been using cattle prods on your elephants. That's a no-no."
"But," he gasped, "they are my property." This man was just not getting the message, so I extended my trunk a little and held him right over the tip of my left tusk, like a worm about to be placed on a fishing hook.
"With one twitch of my trunk, I could make you a shish kebab. Now, are you going to listen to me?"
Yes, I'm listening." he said. I'm listening very closely.
No more cattle prods. No more pain of any kind. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Because I'll be watching you. And if you ever hurt an elephant again, ever, I'll come back for you and I will squeeze you until you pop like an overcooked hot dog. Do you understand me?
Yes.
Joseph, can you fly?
What? Can I fly? No, of course not.
I bet you can. And then she hurls him into a tent.
Can you fly, Bobby boy?
Yeah.
Oh, Clarence, no. We got to get that in there.
No, of course. That's what I immediately thought was just RoboCop.
Yeah. So.
Can you fly, Bobby?
Clarence, no. Hit it. He landed safely atop a tent about, 20 feet away. Now can we go home? Cassie asked. And they beats the fuck out.
Yeah. That's some price cut Polly shit that I love.
Rachel's openings are the best.
Yeah, because she always turns into an elephant and wrecks shit. It's great.
Yeah, she fucking ruined a racist's life.
Yeah.
She sent poor Joseph flying.
And before that, she freaked out some rapers and then crushed a car dealership. Yeah. She's been getting shit done.
They cut ahead in chapter 3 and they're like, wow, you threw a poor Russian man into a tent? And Cassie even gave her some shit last chapter. It's like, Jake's gonna yell at you for this. They're gonna read. Yeah,
why do they care? Why do they care what Jake thinks? Okay, he's the leader, but what? He's not he doesn't have influence on any of them.
They get back to Cassie's barn.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel explains what she did, and Jake's like, "Well, okay, whatever." He doesn't yell at her at all, but he's like, "Yeah, whatever. Just try not to do that again, I guess."
Yeah, and it's not important because she should be able to do what she wants.
Yeah,
they all should have some reign of how they use their powers because it's their powers.
Yeah, it's them completely.
It's not going to affect the Animorphs if she freaks out some Joseph. Yeah,
Joseph.
Unless he was a controller, but who cares?
I got to thinking about that.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what if he was a controller?
But he would respond back of you, Andalite.
Yeah, he would have responded back. But why would the Yerks want a circus performer
to control the elephant army? Actually, no, wait. They hate diversity of animals, right?
Yeah, they hate diversity of animals.
Yeah,
they don't want someone who's poor. They want someone with influence.
Right. So yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know. But another cool fact about Rachel.
Okay.
She doesn't tell the group that Cassie helped. Rachel's not a fucking narc.
Yeah. No, she doesn't.
I love
snitch.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Because she doesn't need to snitch on somebody. She doesn't need to say oh well, someone else was with me too, so it's fine. She'll just take all the blame and not give a fuck.
Right.
Rachel rules.
I looked at Cassie. She gave me a wink. We kind of didn't tell Jake that she had been there too. Cassie and Jake like each other. She didn't want him to be mad at her. With me, it's a different story. Everyone knows I'm going to do whatever I feel like doing. Rachel has a voice.
Yeah.
She has a voice. And it's probably the strongest voice.
Throughout this book, the one thing that really echoed with me was how much I'm beginning to dislike Cassie. I think that, in ways that Rachel has a voice, and I appreciate it, Cassie has a voice, but shrinks when she has to.
She just falls apart. Buckets.
Right, exactly. And, I can see why they're friends, but, it's the friend relationship of, I need you to do the hard shit for me.
Right.
Right?
It's... We're going to do some Animorph ranking. Not right now, but eventually.
No, we should just do it throughout the entire series. Animorph ranking, go. Tobias,
Rachel, Marco, Cassie, and Jake.
Well, actually, no, hold on. I'm going to fix this because we're forgetting one key. Okay.
I meant
Tobias.
Tobias,
Axe,
Rachel.
Right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Because Axe is definitely number 2.
Definitely. But out of the 5
because of
kids,
his taste.
Yeah, as a friend, I also love some taste. But they're meeting in the barn. Mm-hmm. This is how the books go. There's a short story, brutal description of morphing. In the
they all meet in the barn to talk about something somebody else discovered.
Yeah, then they all meet up because someone has an announcement. This time it's Marco.
I like that the barn is their kind of HQ.
Yeah, it's whatever the hell it was called, wherever the Power Rangers met. This is called Animorph.
The moon?
No, that was where Rita Repulsa lived. I remember that, but I can't remember the fucking where Zordon lived. What the hell was that called? Marco's got an announcement.
Okay.
He and our boy, Tobias,
yeah,
have been up to no good.
Tobias is always on these discovery missions. It's great.
Tobias is the best Animorph. And I know we say that a lot, but I don't think you fucks are picking up just how great Tobias
Well,
is.
he's the narrative glue. Anything that needs to be discovered is always discovered by Tobias.
Yeah. So Marco and Tobias know where the fucking Yerk pool is.
Yeah.
They've found it. Which, I fucking love this, that Marco and Tobias, two people don't always team up.
They don't get along.
They don't
really.
get along.
They don't. They only talk when they're like angry at each other for some reason.
And now that Marco's all into being an Animorph,
Yeah.
he knows that Tobias is the best one to fucking team up with.
Because he is all in on Animorphs because he's their glue.
Because, well, my mommy's the king of the Yerks. I want to see my mom. It's pretty good.
This is a good Marco. Yeah.
But they, for days, weeks, however long it's been, have been following our boy, Innis226, Principal Chapman.
Yeah. I know Innis226 more than Principal Chapman at this point.
Yeah, all we know is that Principal Chapman loves his daughter.
Ancient history. Who cares?
Yeah, we don't.
Who cares about love?
Yeah, we don't need love here. This is a loveless podcast. We will never be in love again.
However, we're all about stalking, and this is some good stalking that's going on.
Yeah, they are hunting Chapman, and they find, of course, the Yerks are hiding where we assumed they would be. In the gap.
Yeah.
You go into the gap.
Fall into the gap. It's remember like the commercials?
Barely.
You remember those things?
To the gap, fall into the gap, fall into the fall into the gap.
Hey.
Commercials, you hear about this?
Hey, you hear this? You see this?
Fresh up my Kvassier. No, I'll get to it.
Yeah, it's
Still no honey in this.
it's at the bottom. That's why you put a little Kvassier at the bottom. You get like some honey Kvassier. But the secret's in the gap, right? In
Yeah.
the changing rooms.
So the changing room, they go into the changing room, last one.
Yeah.
And then the controllers exit out of the movie theater.
Right. So I guess they just that must be so hard to notice. Like, so they tracked one, like, well, it's Chapman specifically, right? So they tracked Chapman into the gap, and then been in there for like an hour,
Right.
or
However
whatever.
long it takes.
So then they're just like wandering around. I guess like, well, it'd have to be Marco because Tobias can't see anything in the gap.
Well, no, because Tobias is probably outside watching all the exits, just like circling.
Oh,
the
just seeing if
building.
he left. Okay.
I mean, they don't say this.
No, but that makes
We're
sense.
filling in the
Yeah.
narrative. We're doing the hard work here, Catherine Alice Applegate. So if you'd please send us a check of doing the showing, not just telling, that would be great. You can address it to Animorph Time with Nate and Tyler. So they're following Chapman.
So they find out that they leave through the movie theater. And,
Right.
And like, okay, so that has to be where they go get recharged.
But the group is like, we've tried to do the Yerk pool once. It's
They had a
giant-
bad time.
They had a real bad time, Tobias especially. They are all freaked out about the Yerk pool, and it's like, well, yeah, duh. No one wants to go back there because it's basically a Yerk city full of all the worst motherfuckers.
But they
on the
always
planet.
run into like them through these cameras, so might as well just like, do it on their own terms, right?
Well,
Like that makes
I mean,
sense.
yeah, do it on your own terms. But if you went to a place and you knew that place basically killed one of your friends, you wouldn't really want to rush
No.
back to it.
Right. They're all just apprehensive because they had a bad time.
But they recognize that they have to go after the Kandrona, which shoots special Yerk rays into the water and feeds them.
Yeah, it's it's a superfood sun, right?
Yeah, the superfood sun.
And like the thing that I didn't quite get at the time was that it doesn't have to physically be there.
Yeah,
Like I guess
I thought.
I guess it was just like a series of mirrors, Indiana Jones style, that kind of like bounces the rays off into the Yerk pool.
No, it just seems more like radio waves just emanating,
Okay,
powering the.
so it's like a 5G network that's giving us all the coronavirus.
Yeah.
Don't listen to the government's lies. It's
Yeah, hey,
5G.
Look, I know a lot of the world's doctors are telling you one thing, but we kind of see through all that stuff in the mass media. The Clinton News Network, we don't believe it.
No, we don't.
Just 5G is giving the weakest among us corona.
That's right.
I don't have it.
Hey, could you spit in my mouth?
Again? So they're gonna they're gonna find and blow up the Kandrona.
Right. So like the Kandrona, okay, yeah. So it's just like a radio tower. It's a cell tower. They just have to be within the radius of this thing.
They reckon that it has to be nearby because it has to be somewhat close to York pools. They're like, well, it could be in York City, could be anywhere. It just has to be near.
So they decided instead of like going for the pool, they're going to go for the Kandrona.
Yeah.
Right.
Axe is like, yeah, let's run in there. Let's run into the Yerk pool and kill them all. And they're like, no, dude, you never been there.
Yeah, Marco like lays it down thick on him too, right?
He does. Like, he's mean to Axe.
Well, yeah. Well, I think he's just like He's doing the tough love thing of just like,
So you say even Marco's being a better leader than Jake.
yes. Well, yeah, no, that's why Jake's last, is because he's the worst leader with the worst ideas who he has no impact on the story.
Yeah, he just sits there and is like, ha, ha, ha. All right. That's Jake.
Yeah. When was the last like Jake story?
The last one, he had a yerk in his brain.
Oh yeah. But even then that wasn't about him, it was about Yerk Brain. It was about that poor guy that was just like dying in his head.
Yeah, the only cool thing Jake has ever done is fried hundreds of yerks.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Doesn't matter.
Hey, if you're a Jake fan, turn this podcast off.
Turn it on and we'll convince you otherwise. Don't cut them off.
Look, if they're going to suck from my creative teat, they're going to get the milk I want to make. Just leave that one there.
Anyways, they're going for they're going to get the Corona
they want to
raise.
blow up the Kandrona, but they're too afraid to go to the Yerk pool.
Right.
Smash cut to Rachel going home. Because that is where we are next. Rachel heads the fuck home. And cut to Rachel at home asking her mom what's for dinner. And honestly, this was not... This sets up the emotional arc of this book.
Right.
And probably, combined with some of the stuff later, is one of my favorite chapters in this book.
There's some good family dynamics here.
Yeah.
Like most of the times when they do like the happy family stuff, like it never really reads right.
No, but this time, this read right.
Yeah.
And it's, what's for dinner? I asked my mom as soon as I got home. The walk in the woods had made me hungry. Being outdoors always does that to me. So does fear. I just kept picturing the Yerk pool. The cages full of involuntary hosts, humans and Hork-Bajir, temporarily free of the Yerk parasites. I kept hearing them, crying. That's what most of them did while they waited to be reinfested. Others screamed, some begged for mercy, or worse. My mom was standing by the kitchen counter. She was more dressed up than she usually was in the evening. She was munching nervously on some Doritos and kind of staring off into space.
I know that feeling.
I love that, where it's like,
Yeah.
she's thinking of all this horrible shit in her life.
Yeah, she's thinking about like hundreds just like screaming underground, waiting to be taken over again.
And she sees her mom, who's not paying her any goddamn mind.
Well, she has her own problems,
Yeah,
as we'll
she
find
has
out
her
later.
own
Like,
problems.
yeah. Being the celebrated award-winning lawyer.
Yeah, paralegal, whatever she does, like lawyer, junior.
She's a successful lawyer.
They said that, well, no, they said she wasn't quite, whatever. We'll just go with lawyer, shorthand it, fuck it.
Yeah, doesn't matter. But like, you know, Rachel's story seems like it's going to always be one of just like PTSD.
Right.
You know, and this is, you know.
And this reads like, oh, my mom's acting weird. And I thought they were like, oh, mom might be a controller. Or, oh, honey, your dad is coming over.
No, I don't think a controller would just be like doing anything nervously, right? Like when they're controlled, like they act normal. And
they act normal, but they've always kind of been like, oh, they feel a little off. And so I was wondering,
do you think it's like a Terminator 2 kind of a thing where it's like when they call the mom?
yeah.
And, you know, it's like, oh, everything's fine here, honey. Like, you know, try to make everything as normal as possible.
Yes, it's
right?
that, but
Yeah.
you can kind of tell it's a little off.
Right.
And I thought that's where this was going. But the really heartbreaking thing about this book, to its credit, it never, ever, ever mentions any of that with Rachel's home life. And I fucking love that because it makes the heartbreak of this arc and her story so much worse.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, oh, maybe mom's a controller and maybe dad's now a controller. But really, it's just sadder. Her dad, who she doesn't get to see that much, is moving away.
Yeah. So they have an awkward dinner to kind of talk about it.
Yeah, they get Thai food. Dad brings Thai food.
Well, and what I thought it was is like, oh, he's moving back in again. Right. When I read that, it was like, oh, because like, when else would a divorced couple get together to have a nice family dinner?
Right, and
if it wasn't
the mom is more dressed up.
Right. They're nervous about something. They're wanting to like keep up appearances.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it was either like, oh, dad's moving back in, or oh, dad's leaving forever, which, you know, you find out it's the latter.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because they leave the choice up to Rachel.
Which is a fuck. I made a note about this.
Yeah.
That makes her dad and her mom fucking pieces of shit.
They are bad parents because like it doesn't work like that. You can't just you know
don't
leave
lay
that
that
decision
because on a fucking kid.
Because then they're going to be thinking about that their entire life, like
Right.
you know, and well, that's how court systems work, right?
Yeah.
Like you know, when there is a suit, they bring the kids up like, do you love mom or dad more? It's like fuck, yeah, I can't make that choice.
Did you ever have to go through that?
No.
I did a little bit when
Yeah.
my parents were going to divorce. Spoiler alert, they didn't divorce. They should have.
Spoiler alert for your parents' relationship.
Yeah. But I remember sitting outside the courthouse and my dad's like, "You're going to love California. It's going to be great. Just come stay with me. It's going to be so good." And I was just sitting there like a fucking fourth grader.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do? I love my mom and my dad. What do I do? And they're fucking laying this on Rachel.
Right. And
they're leaving it up to her.
yeah, and like think about it. She's dressing nicely because she's like, pick me. You know, like it turns it.
You read that as pick me?
Well, I mean, I read that as, you know, she wants to put up the best face to her ex-husband as possible.
Yeah, like, hey,
there's
I'm
part
looking good.
There's part of that, but that's also what it kind of turns into. It's just like, hey, listen, we'll have a great time here. Like, oh, you'll have a great time in Chicago or wherever they're moving. Like,
Yeah,
oh, it'll be
wherever.
great. I got you this like Olympic award-winning
Yeah,
like, teacher
she's like,
for gymnastics.
If you move with me, we can go do all that fun stuff we've always done.
Right, and it's like, what are you doing? Like bribing your daughter to move
Yeah.
with you? It's like, no.
I mean, parents fucking do that shit. My fucking dad
Yeah.
did that to me. When I went to visit him when he and my mom separated,
Right.
he was like, "Oh yeah, you can have whatever you want. You want to go see The Hunchback of Notre Dame by yourself? Go ahead." Because I was a kid, and that's the only movie that was playing in fucking Weed, California.
It wasn't a bad movie.
No,
I
he's
get
like,
it.
"You want this X-Men comic? Yeah, we'll get that. Hey, look, you want to play Earthworm Jim? Yeah, go right ahead. Oh, look, I got you all these art supplies." It's like my memories of California
Yeah.
felt uncomfortable, but I had a lot of fucking fun.
Yeah, you got
We
a lot
went
of stuff out of
camping
it.
all the time. We had a good time. I read all the comics I wanted to read, but at what cost? The destruction of my mother's heart?
Yeah.
That's what Rachel's dad is offering here. And
Not on purpose. Like none of this is for like malicious intent. It's all just because they feel insecure about their, you know, their offspring's love. Like and you know, but that's their problem. That's the problem that they need to deal with.
yeah, and that's the problem that they put on these fucking children. That's so don't have kids, I guess is what we're saying.
Well, and it's only an offer for Rachel too, right?
Yeah, the other daughters are too young to make that decision, so I guess they're just going to stay with the mom.
Well, I can see that rationale. It still is a bad idea.
Yeah, still-
but like you can see like the argument being made of like, okay, so Rachel's like 16, 17.
Ish, yeah, something like that.
Yeah, so you know,
I mean,
you can
at
see
best.
you can see the argument of like, hey, listen, do you want to like move in another city for a year or
Yeah,
no?
and the dad even says you're old enough to take care of yourself after school.
But like it's still that decision of like you're treating someone as an adult who just isn't. They look like an adult, but they're not.
Right.
And you need to make that decision, right?
Yeah, and it's I was angry at the father for this, like immediately.
Yeah.
But Rachel's like, what the fuck do I do here?
Right. Yeah, and she just like she breaks down.
The anger doesn't get to her, but she sees an escape from the stress at school, the stress of being a fucking animorph, all her problems. She even says, I could move to another city where nobody expects me to save the world. They just see a girl trying to do gymnastics.
Well, that's my thing here too. Is that like Rachel's already made the decision of like I'm with the Animorphs.
Yeah. From day one, she's been like, I'm all in.
So like you know what's the choice here really? Like I mean I think she's just more upset that she's gonna have to break her dad's heart a little bit.
Yeah, but I don't.
I never
credit-
I never saw her like having the actual debate of like I should go.
No, she kind of does, but she also recognizes she's been put in a shitty place.
Yeah.
Like for about a page and a half, she's like, I could go have this wonderful life. And then she realizes, what the fuck are you doing?
Ooh,
You're going to leave your friends. You're going to leave Tobias, who gave his entire life for
Right.
this.
Yeah.
You're going to let these yerk fucking slugs take over the fucking planet. So what? You can have 6 months of fucking gymnastics and fun?
Right. Remember the last book that she was the star of? Like her best friend has yerked parents, and
Yeah.
she saw like what that does, and she says like never again. I don't want to have anyone go through that experience again.
Yeah, she's...
And so like that's why I'm like she is mainly just mourning the loss of having a good life.
Yeah, but
But like this is a nice parallel for things we'll come across later in the book.
Yes.
This is actually a really good setup. I
it's-
like this framing.
I liked this chapter quite a bit.
Well, I mean, I just like this framing thing that's happening here, and we'll get into it when we get into it. But like, this same situation will happen later in the book.
Right. And she, after the dad leaves in chapter 6, she talks to her mom. And the mom's like, yeah, it's completely up to you. I don't care one way or the other. I mean, she doesn't say she doesn't care, but she says the choice is up to you.
It's a weird situation for the mom because like she can't like if she advocates too hard, then it's like okay, what's your motivation? Do you want me to? Is this for me or is this for you?
Right.
And
And Kathy Apples distills it down, I think, pretty succinctly. Just after my dad left, I talked to my mom. She said what I expected. She wanted me to stay, but it was up to me. She trusted me to think it through. Up to me. Great. I could hurt my mom and my sisters, or I could hurt my dad. Perfect. Isn't divorce fun? And it's like, yeah, she goes to bed after that. She's thinking of all this shit.
And then she goes on Animorphin, like, rage run.
She's like, fuck this.
Yeah.
She can't go to sleep. God, what did she say? She said...
She turns into an owl, right?
She turns into an owl, but she uses this phrase, which... After I went to bed, I just lay there, staring up the ceiling. My brain kept churning like a computer you can't turn off. She doesn't know what to do, so she turns into a great horned owl and flies to the only place that makes sense. Fucking Tobias's nest.
Yeah, well, that's her rock, right? It's like when she's having trouble, she goes to Tobias. When anyone has trouble, they go to Tobias for advice.
God, I sure wish there was a leader that I could talk to about all this stuff.
The answer is there is.
There is. It's Tobias.
So...
And he rightly so freaks out. He's like, what the fuck?
Well, like, yeah, because like she silently glides through the night and then like startles upon Tobias just like having a nap. And it's like, oh, fucking hell.
Yeah. He's like, Rachel's like, hey, Tobias, it's just me, Rachel. And he's like, what the fuck? He's like, you know I'm afraid of owls. You know I'm afraid of them. You know they eat hawks. You know. You know I'm afraid of owls. You can't do that. I'm afraid.
He kind of secretly loves owls, though. Like he appreciates.
He knows a lot about them. He's like, well, owls eat mostly mice and large insects, but they have been known to eat hawks. And I'm a hawk, and you know I'm afraid of them.
You would know what animals can eat you.
Yeah,
you would pay close attention to that, and he does, and it's great. Like Tobias knows so much about birds now. It's just like these ones can eat me. Yeah. These ones I appreciate, but like we're chill. And these ones I will eat them.
Yeah,
and I'll
like
eat those
kestrels. They ain't shit to me.
Yeah.
Great horn owls, fucking chads of the night.
Night chads. Title of the episode, Chads of the Night.
Chads of the Night. Oh, disgusting. And Tobias is like, hey girl, come in my crib, what up? What's on your mind, honey? He doesn't do that. He actually is very concerned and caring. He's like, what's on your mind? And she's like, oh, nothing. And he's like, you flew to my nest in the middle of the night. There's something wrong. Please tell me about it. And she just goes, you ever think about the future? Like, what happens when we grow up? Think we're going to go to college? And he's like, I figure all this shit will sort itself out. I guess if I go to college, I can be an ornithologist.
That's a great line.
It was because he knows a lot about birds.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, there's not. I don't think about that. And then Rachel realizes, oh, yeah, why would Tobias think about a future?
He's not thinking about future aside from, like, cool shoes to eat.
Tobias doesn't think past, hey, where'd I put my watch and what mouse am I going to eat?
Is Tobias, like... So he's fully given... He's not, like, considering that he's going to be human again.
He's an animorph.
Well, no, he is a...
Well, he got animorphed.
He got animorphed completely.
Yeah,
he's all in on the animorphed.
He went full Morphy boy, and he is.
And he's accepted that to like the level that he's. It's a realistic expectation because he's not coming back.
Yeah, and Rachel doesn't even consider that. And
and like because she's there for herself right now. Like, she's not here to like I better cheer up Tobias.
No, but she also realizes, oh shit, of course he's got no future. Yeah. So she's like, I don't know, I just can't sleep. Hey, why don't we go to the gardens and, let's acquire some animals.
She wants power now.
She wants power. She wants to feel strong.
Well, that's why she turned into an owl, is that, like, she wanted to, like, feel strong and powerful. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And, like, owls... She describes an owl as the night killer, which I thought was pretty great.
Yeah, she's...
And then, like, talks about, like, crushing, like, Shrew's head in their talons. And, like, I can hear their bones creak and it feels strong and powerful. And, like, she wants control. Like, she wants control of something right now.
And she's like, hey, why don't we go to the gardens and I'll acquire a new morph, like a lion or a grizzly bear or something. And Tobias is like, bitch, you done know it's night? There ain't no thermals at night. I can't fucking fly there. I'd have to flap the whole way. I can't do that.
Do you not understand?
Do you not understand how fucking red-tailed hawks work? I've been this way for months. I need hot pockets of air to lift me up. And she's like, oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, bye.
Well, she talks about her mom for a little bit and then
yeah,
leaves.
Yeah, she's like, yeah, my mom, whatever.
She always wanted to have a boy, and I guess I'm just like,
oh,
yeah.
this is the sexism chapter, isn't it?
This is that chapter where she keeps on talking like, yeah, when my mom was pregnant, she wanted to have a boy, but then she said like, oh, you're just as good as any boy, which I was like, oh, hey.
And here's the part. Yeah. So she's relaying a memory of her mom talking to her dad, and the dad's like, the mom says, I know you always wanted a boy. She told my dad, oh, come on, he answered. That was years ago. I thought I had to have a boy to do all the fun dad stuff with, but I have Rachel. She's as good as any boy. She's already tougher than most boys her age. Have you seen the vaults she can do? My mom groaned. Don't ever let her hear you say that. Little girls do not want to be told they're as good as a boy. Now here comes the problematic part. But
now?
She was wrong. I know it was sexist and all, but I still just thought it was great. My dad thought I was as tough as any boy. Cool.
Jeepers. Like, well, this is Kay Applegate's like hang-ups kind of being manifest here, right? Like,
yeah.
And speaking as someone who was never a teenage girl, she's probably heard this conversation and maybe had those thoughts.
Right.
So, like, I don't know. Like,
I mean, the mom did the right thing of saying, don't ever say that to your daughter.
Yeah, but like she should have stopped there. Like the whole thing is just like, it's whatever. Like we can say time and place, but like that is a very like boomer mindset,
right?
Of just girls don't want to be told that they're good as they're good as boys.
I am a real boy. I'm by the way starting to get the honey quite good.
Yeah,
I'm getting to the bottom of that bad boy. I better add some more Courvoisier.
I mean, there's a lot there. Although be careful with the Courvoisier because we need it for the revolution.
And then she even says, if only he knew what I was doing now, I thought, how could he expect me to make this decision? I couldn't leave my friends. I couldn't. They were counting on me. We were going back to the Yerk pool, and they were counting on me to be brave and strong. That's what they thought I was. But if I was so brave and so strong, why was I suddenly imagining a very different life, a long, long way from the war with the Yerks? Why was I imagining a life of gymnastics classes and ball games with my dad? A place where I was just a person. Where no one expected me to go back into that hell of screams and despair called the Yerk pool. If I was so brave and so tough, why was I imagining a normal life? Because, bitch, that's what you do. That's what you're fucking fighting for.
Yeah, but like, she's allowed to say like, man, this current, like, I wish I could just like do normal shit.
Right.
Like, because like, whatever, she's allowed to have that feeling.
Yeah.
Like,
of course you're going to have some FOMO. What?
That's not, it's not even FOMO. It's more of like my life is fucked up and I wish that it wasn't anymore and I want to live in that fantasy for just 1 second. But every time like I get tempted so many times to leave, it sucks. I wish I could just like be done with the temptation. I've already made the decision, but like everyone keeps on saying like you can leave here or you can leave there or you can just escape anywhere you want, right? Like, and she's done with the constant reminder that she can escape at any time.
Right, because this is unfair because she knows there is no escape. It's like...
Well, she knows that she has an escape. She does have an escape. Right? She can leave to Chicago and say, like, bye, Animorphs, and they'd say, like, we get it. You've had some hard times and some bad dreams recently.
But what we know about Rachel is there's no choice. There's no choice for her.
Why do you say it? Like, because she is brave and strong? Like, that's the choice?
Because...
Like, there's no choice there?
I think... more than anyone except maybe Tobias, she's the best person.
She holds the responsibility pretty strongly. And so, like...
She knows what is at stake if she leaves.
Right. But don't remove her agency from that. Just because, like, she knows what's at stake doesn't mean that she doesn't have those doubts every so often.
No.
And that's what's tearing her apart.
No, but I'm saying that her moral backbone is so strong that this choice was always just an illusion.
Yeah. No, that's right.
Which comes into play quite a bit in this book.
Yeah.
How choice is an illusion.
We'll get there.
Which is fucking dumb.
We'll get to the wizard.
Choice is not an illusion.
Yeah.
Like there's always the choice, as long as you're being true to yourself.
And as long as there's not a wizard,
a space wizard with stars for eyes.
Honestly, we'll get there.
I love that description.
We'll get there. It's fine.
He's got translucent blues. So whatever. It's fine. But so
chapter 7.
That's where she and Tobias are talking, and he's like, "I gotta go," or she says, "I gotta go." And so she books it and heads south. She heads for The garden.
Well, she goes nuts like in another, just like, I need to go for a walk, but for Animorphs, it's just like, I need to fly.
Yeah.
Or, Cassie turns into a horse when she needs to get that stress out. Like, she likes to fly around and kind of think about life, and she flew by the gardens.
Yeah, which is the zoo.
Right.
Hey, fans, write us in. Let us know if we're catching you up on all the stuff in the same succinct, fast way that Kathy Apple does.
I mean, yeah, like, whatever, the gardens is the zoo. It's
the zoo.
They didn't take any time.
That's where they go to
That was fast.
acquire. And it says, it took a while to find the bears. I wasn't interested in the little black bears or the polar bears. I was looking for the grizzlies. I wanted power.
I mean, who doesn't want
Who
power?
doesn't want power? So,
Like, let's talk about the power of bears.
shall we get into bears?
And that's the power of bears. Grizzly bear facts. Here we go.
Grizzly bear.
Burp.
We need an air horn sound. Can you use a soundboard?
I'll just
Yeah, you just make. Okay.
add it in there.
Sometimes you can hear the bear roar. Oh, yeah. We don't need a soundboard. We got you. You're like Mr. Police Academy over there. So we'll start
Yeah.
with the bear's Latin name. You ready for this?
Ooh, yeah, I'm ready for that Latin.
Ursus arctos horribilis.
Did you curse me in Harry Potter language?
We don't like Harry Potter in this. Okay? No Harry Potter. We're done.
Expecto Patronum. Yeah, that's right.
We're like expectorate patronum.
Hey-oh. You spit everywhere. What's wrong with you?
I'm trying not to.
Expecto You spit? What a badass wizard spell you got there. I'm a cool wizard. Spit.
Harry Potter's done.
The corona just wants to leave your body.
So, we got they're also called North American brown bear. Whatever. We're
We're talking about grizzlies.
That's what they're called.
Yeah.
They're grizzly bears.
Yeah.
Ursus arctos horribilis. They live to be 20 to 25 years old. They can be up to 6'5".
So it's actually horribilis.
Horribilis, like horrible,
Yeah.
horribilis,
Okay.
which comes into play later in the book.
Yeah.
That's their name. They can be 6'5".
Okay.
The males can get up to 600 pounds. So
Okay.
roughly the size of your mom.
So like 2 basketball.
Got his ass.
Oh, you got
Got it. Take
No.
that, Becky.
you got my mom's ass. Got her.
Got her.
So it's like 3 basketball players taped together.
Yeah. It's like-
Because like you said, they're like 6'5".
yeah, it's like Michael Jordan, Patrick Ewing, and Dennis Rodman tied together. From now on, whenever you think of grizzly bears, I want you to think of that.
Yeah. It's like a human centipede.
We're
but
so good at sports.
right next to each other.
So,
Yeah.
you often heard that bears do hibernation, correct?
Yeah.
It's not quite hibernation.
Well, so they just like lay down and go to sleep.
Essentially, for 5 to 7 months.
They eat a lot beforehand.
Yes, which is called hyperphagia. But
They have a big meal
for
and then take a sleep.
5 to 7 months is
Yeah.
when they're down. And it's not true hibernation like a woodchuck. Woodchucks do true hibernation.
Wait, what?
Look, we'll get to it with Woodchuck book.
There's not a woodchuck
Woodchuck book.
There's
Woodchuck book. We'll get to it with the Woodchuck book. Got it.
Nailed it.
Bears do what is called torpor. 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 So that basically means bears get thirsty. They just wake up, go out, have a drink of water, go back to sleep.
Okay, well, that's what I do when I sleep. It's like sometimes I'm thirsty, I wake up and go torpor myself and then come back.
Yeah. Throughout every day,
Yeah.
when I'm preparing to go to sleep, I eat up to 90 pounds of food a day.
Yeah.
I gain up to 3 pounds a day,
Yeah. Okay.
like bears.
Hey, how much can you hold in a bear's stomach?
I don't know. Tell me.
150 kilograms.
Ooh. Good to know. Maybe you should be doing bear facts.
I also did bear facts. We got confused about who's doing bear facts.
We both have some stellar bear facts.
That's why I'm feigning surprise.
So, I don't know how many people know this. I knew this because I was a bear fan prior to this podcast.
You were a bear fan before they were in it.
I got a bear tattoo on my arm. Have had 4 years.
Yeah,
so I love bears.
That's true. You even have a nephew named Bear because of that, and definitely not.
Yeah, my
else.
sister's like, I want to name him Luke, and I said, no, name him Bear after my favorite animal. And none of that happened. But I do have a nephew named Bear. It's fine.
Yeah.
Not my nephew.
Your nephew.
Bears, when they're doing we'll just call it hibernation.
Torpor.
You're probably wondering, they lay there for 5 to 7 months.
Yeah.
And just pissing and shitting all over themselves. You're wrong. They don't piss, they don't shit. What do you want to learn about first? How they don't piss or how they don't shit?
I know the answer to one of these, so let's start with the one I do know. How come they don't shit?
So, when bears are preparing for their torpor, they're doing what I called earlier hyperphagia, which means eating a lot, up to 90 pounds of food a day, if they can get it. These fat bitches are pretty much perfect spheres when they go into their den.
I know that feeling.
And what they eat is a bunch of indigestible plants, and they do some extra cleaning, licking their hair, and they digest this plant in their hair to create what's called a fecal plug.
Wait, so 2 questions.
So
they put in a butt plug.
They form the butt plug in their body.
Oh, so they put a bunch of so they eat a bunch of hair and plants,
yes,
and then passes through.
The plants,
but then when it gets to the old suction cup, they just squeeze real hard and
They eat the plants first because that causes them to shit all the good stuff out.
Well, they need the good stuff.
Well, they gotta empty their bowels.
Okay.
So they eat this indigestible shit that causes them to have diarrhea. They shit out all the good stuff after taking the nutrients. Then they start cleaning themselves, eating their own hair.
Cool.
Create a bezoar. That's what that's called.
Sounds like a nice villain.
I'm Bezoar. I'll help Bezoar get Bezoar and his bug fighter. You cannot get past Bezoar.
Nothing passes Bezoar.
So they create this little rock called a fecal plug, which can be 7 to 15 inches long and 2.5 inches in diameter, roughly the size of my dick.
How big is your dick?
Between 7 and 15 inches long and 2.5 inches in diameter.
Do you eat hair to make your dick big?
Yes. Hey, eat hair. Makes your dick big. No, that was very bad. So it plugs them up. It creates an indwelling butt plug. Their stomach creates a butt plug so they don't shit.
Yeah. Well, okay. So would they? So I guess my next follow-up question is does shit just kind of store up?
No, they're not eating.
Okay, so why have the butt plug if it's
because there would be leakage of shit.
Okay, so it's really just maybe a cup and a half of shit that they're really trying to keep out.
Yeah.
That's nothing. Just let it out.
That's fair. So,
yeah, nature, get your shit together.
Yeah, get your shit together, nature, and just let that poop out.
Let that shit out.
So, you knew about the fecal plug, correct?
I did know about that. How come they don't pee, though? That's really fascinating.
So this, I thought, was super fucking cool.
They bite their dicks off. Just chew it off.
Yeah, before they go in there, bears won't be needing this. They bite their own? No. So, bears' bodies recycle its own urine and turn it into proteins, which fuel their muscles. That's why...
they're getting swole off their piss juice.
Because if a human lays on the ground for, even more than a few hours, they start to get pressure ulcers.
Yeah.
Bears don't get those. With
I was thinking that they were just rolling around.
No, they don't. They hardly move. They move a little bit, but they hardly move. Mm-hmm. And their body recycles their piss into protein, which they then use to fuel their muscles. Isn't that fucking sweet?
Get some piss protein and get some sick gains.
Right. And there's always a thing of bear's hibernating, you can't wake it up. Incorrect. You can definitely wake up a bear from hibernation.
You should go find out.
Because they themselves wake up to go drink in case they need to make more piss protein.
Do they drink it?
They drink the water. No, it doesn't come out of them.
Okay.
It recycles in their kidneys and breaks it down into protein.
Okay, so it's not
goes through the liver and everything.
So this is not like a Waterworld situation where they're peeing and then kind of drinking their pee.
No, it happens all in the body. It's completely cruelty free.
Okay,
so that's how they.
That's a good bear fact.
They maintain their mass. That's how. Bears are very smart.
Yeah.
In that bears have been known to see a bear trap and then roll rocks into it to trigger them.
Like, but they saw another bear like get caught, right?
I mean,
Like,
probably.
yeah, like they didn't just like, it wasn't passed down through oral tradition of like a bear talking around a fire. So they saw a bear get wrecked and they're like, okay, there's a problem here.
Yeah, so they're on the lookout for traps.
Yeah.
They also, there's certain lines in areas like Canada, Pacific Northwest, where we are, or like rural country like Alaska, all that shit.
Yeah.
There are certain lines of dumpsters that talk about how much bear weight it can withstand before it pops open. Because bears have been known, 600 pounds, a motherfucking grizzly bear, jumping on the dumpster, they just hop. They hop and hop until the trash breaks open and they eat it.
For fun? Oh, so okay.
Yeah.
They're not just like having
No.
fun on the like trash trampoline.
No, they do something else for fun, which I'll tell you about.
Okay, but like they're in there to get food.
Yes, they pop
And
that
scraps.
open.
They love the taste.
They call it the CPR method, where it's just a bear jumping on something until it smashes open. They pound on stuff until it breaks open.
Okay,
Fucking
because
sweet.
I've seen a bear safe, right?
Yes.
And like the whole idea of a bear safe is that like it can withstand a bear
Yes,
attack.
that's what it's for, because
Yeah.
they love smashing shit open because they're fucking strong. Their fucking claws,
How strong are they?
very strong.
Stronger than a gorilla?
Yes.
Really?
Oh yes.
'Cause, like-
stronger and faster.
Okay. All right.
So
How does Marco feel about this? Oh wait, I was away from.
he
the mic.
doesn't feel. So one thing, a treat that bears love to eat are moths.
Because they're so dusty.
I mean, I don't know. It's been documented
Yeah.
that bears can spend up to 14 hours a day turning over rocks looking for moths, and some have been known to eat thousands of moths a day.
I like that because you never think of like animals having different tongues,
Right.
but like they have different taste receptors. They find different things tasty.
So that goes into my next one.
What's that?
In 2004, a bear broke into a convenience store,
Yeah.
smashed open a bunch of beer cases, tried several different beers, and then drank all of one type of beer.
What was the beer?
They didn't say. That's the real bummer thing. But
It was probably like a Coors or something trashy.
Something, yeah.
It wasn't.
so this bear
classy.
drank every single beer there of that flavor, passed out, and then left.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is that bears like taste.
They love taste.
They'll hunt out the taste. Like, well, yeah, because they taste things differently, right?
Yeah.
Like that's something that doesn't get addressed in the books, but like everyone has different ideas of what is tasty. Well,
Right.
every animal has.
And
ideas.
Kathy Apples actually
Yeah.
gets a very rudimentary bear fact wrong in this book.
What's that?
Later in the book, when she turns into a bear, she says the bear's vision is not good. Bears are one of the only other mammals that can see color. They see very well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like for berries, I assume, or like they need to identify shit. Like I don't know.
I'm not a bear eye doctor. I don't know what bear
Optometrist.
Yeah.
Hello, I'm a bear optometrist.
It's nice cones and odds. But so the bear's heart rate,
Yeah.
40 beats per minute. Do you know a human's heartbeat?
I probably should.
Normal is between 60 and 100.
Okay.
So during hibernation, it's 8 beats per minute.
Okay, so they're like chilling out on cool vibes.
Yeah, they're just
This-
very chill, fat fucks who love to eat. And only grizzly bears are purely carnivorous. Other bears, omnivorous. They love to eat berries. They eat leaves. Yeah, they'll eat other animals. They've been known to eat other bears. But they'll eat
For fun?
for fun.
Okay.
Well, I mean, just because they're hungry.
Yeah.
And
Well,
so grizzly bears
yeah.
will mate with polar bears. You know what they call them?
no.
Grolar bears.
I've heard
or
that.
pizzlies.
Okay. Do you prefer growlers or pizzlies more?
Growler.
I'm more of a pizzly.
Hey, write us and let us know if you're a growler or a pizzly. Hey, actually, hashtag it. Team Growler, Team Pizzly.
We'll put out a Twitter poll when this episode comes out.
Yeah, we will.
We need to know what do the people want and crave. I say pizzly.
I'm Team Growler Bear.
It sounds like growler, and growlers suck.
We'll let the people decide.
Just can your own shit. You don't need to. Oh, I brought this jug. BYO jug.
And that is Bear Facts. Do you have any more you want to share?
Well, you said they were strong.
They are strong. So let me tell you.
Yeah, like I want to know how strong they are.
Grizzly bears have the strongest bear upper arms. So if you look at a grizzly bear, you'll see a big hump on their back.
Yeah.
That hump, it's not just a fat hump. It's actually a muscle that powers their very strong arms.
Well, that's why they can run so fast.
That's The bears can run up to 35 miles per hour, and they can sustain 28 miles per hour for about 2 miles.
So
Those big fat fucks run faster than any human that's ever been born. Oh, do you know what a group of bears is called?
oh yeah, it's a slowl.
I found it was either a sleuth or a sloth.
A sleuth of bear sounds better.
I like a sleuth of bears.
because
a
they're
lot.
like they're detecting something. Turns out it's you because you're food. Oh. If I run into a bear, what should I do?
What up, everybody? We're Fecal Plug and the Sleuth of Bears.
Woo!
What you should do with
What?
a bear, and this is on record.
Okay, so
you
what should I
either-
do with a bear?
You either make yourself taller than the bear and scream, which I
Okay.
learned this in Hunter's safety course.
Okay.
Like you got to scare them away by yelling and preparing, or looking like you'll be more of a fight than you really are. So you got to make yourself look crazy big, loud, boisterous. The bear will be
Okay.
like, I don't want to fuck with that. Or if they attack you, just lay there and do nothing. They say curl up in a ball. And eventually the bear will get bored of trying to kill you and eat you, which has happened. That's on record as working.
That seems so strange to me because like I'm just bored with this thing. It's not like entertaining me in any way.
Right. This ball of meat's no longer fighting. But
What about bear mace? Does bear mace like do?
I mean, it probably works. So bears have a really strong sense of smell. They can
Yeah.
track something from over 20 kilometers away.
So-
Don't ask me to convert that to miles. I'm really not going to do it.
All right, you're a metric man.
But it's-
always been a metric man.
So the bear population is so sparse that
Yeah.
it's often hard for them to find a female scent. We might as well get into the mating, huh?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. Because that's what... Hey, if you're still listening to this podcast, you come here to listen how animals fuck. Am I right? Am I right?
Here comes the animal fuck fact.
We got the animal fuck facts. So, a female bear,
Yeah,
often called a she-bear,
I asked the she bear.
she-bear, they have another name I didn't like as much. I wrote she-bear, will take a hot he-bear's load.
Oh yeah,
So, the bears will mate, and the female will not implant the sperm as an embryo, or it won't implant the embryo into its uterus until it's just about through hibernation.
so it's just chilling out.
I mean, that's...
Like it's just swimming around, like just
I
like
was-
I'm ready when you are.
I was...
All right, give it several months.
The bear's body will keep the embryo, I guess, in its bare fallopian tubes,
Yeah,
wherever. And then when it's preparing to hibernate, that's when the embryo will attach and start to grow. And bears will typically have a litter of 1 to 4, typically 2 bears.
Yeah.
And the saying, mama bear, is a real thing.
So if
Mama
you-
bears are vicious.
so if you see a baby bear, you should go up and play with it because it's a fun time.
Yeah, just go out. They're very cute. The Google pictures of baby bears, they're very cute.
Yeah, you should just go up there and have a good time with a baby bear,
Just, hey, have fun.
and then meet your god because you'll be dead.
It'll be so...
You'll be super dead.
And I think that's bear facts.
Yeah, we did a lot of bear
They're
facts.
load holding,
Yeah.
strong, moth eating fucks.
Yeah. Hashtag bear feminism.
Oh, and let us know, team Pizzly, team grolar bear.
Yeah. Team Pizzly is superior. 2 Z's is always great for a name.
Please, let's keep talking about Animorphs.
Let's talk about the book we read.
Yeah, let's get more on that shit. So she flies to the gardens.
Yeah.
Acquires a bear, and the cool thing about that scene was she could tell the bear noticed her, but the bear didn't give a fuck about her.
Well, she wasn't a threat.
No,
Like, it's just, it's like if a moth came by you, it's like, you wouldn't care.
correct.
Yeah.
But a bear would care because they eat a shitload of moths.
Okay, I guess if you're a moth, you'd care. But, like, you understand what I'm saying. Like, a small, insignificant thing. Like, if a chihuahua comes up to you, you're not going to regard it. You're just like, that's weird.
I might ask it where the new Taco Bell is.
Hey-o.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Hey, run for the border.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Yo quiero Taco Bell.
Live más.
They're the only restaurants open now in our hell future.
Puppy. Yeah, they won the fast food wars. Hey, do you have your 3 shells? We got to use the 3 shells.
No, I have toilet paper.
Don't tell them that. They'll come. So she gets the bear,
So she gets the bear.
and she flies home.
Right. So, why did she get the bear? And she tells us in the next chapter why she wants power.
She wants power.
Right, and-
she even says, I want power.
Well, she wants control, right? Like, I think that every time I see somebody like wanting power or talking about power, she really wants control over
And
their own life.
I think she articulates it well.
Yeah.
So she writes, he was beyond fear, beyond doubt, beyond pain. Must be nice, I whispered to him. I touched him and felt his power flow into me. And yet, as I absorbed his DNA and imagined myself becoming this fearless creature, I still could not forget the look in my father's eyes, or the quaver in his voice saying, "But gee, Rachel, I think it could be okay, you know?" I could already feel the emptiness his moving would leave in my life. He could say he'd come back every other week. He could say we'd still see each other just as much. But I knew it wouldn't be that way. I could imagine him packing up to go. I could remember the screams at the Yerk pool. I could remember Tobias trying to joke about college. Too much. Things that were small and personal. And things that were huge all swirled together in my head. Nothing made sense. It was too much stuff. Too much fear and guilt. And loneliness. Too many decisions. Too much. You know, there are days when I don't feel brave and fearless. There are days when I just want to go to a ball game with my dad and eat popcorn and tune out and everything else that's going on. Be a normal kid. But that wasn't the life I had. Not anymore.
Yeah.
She's all in.
Yeah, she can't go back. I think she's more... If she had the choice at the beginning, knowing what she knows now, do you think she would pick it?
Yeah. I think she and Tobias would pick it. I think the rest would run away. I think the other ones are cowards.
Yeah.
They have situational courage, but they're cowards.
So yeah, you're right. I mean, this is just a fantasy for her. She wants to have a fun time thinking about a normal life for a little bit. You know, catch a break, and then...
I don't think she's quite figured out that, you know... if
she hasn't figured out that she's made the choice.
Right. She hasn't figured out that she's made the choice, and she hasn't figured out that if she wins, that might come back.
Yeah.
That there may be a future after this.
Well, I think this is like the death throes of that happy future. I think this book is kind of like... Okay, you have to give up about the normal, happy life you were expecting. That's not going to happen anymore.
No. What lays before you is dark, and it's changed, and it's different.
Right, and this is the death of that. This is the death of normality.
This is the death of normality.
And she's grieving it. She's like, you know, going through like the stages of grief with her normal kid life. You know,
and it's fucking powerful shit.
Yeah, this
is good shit.
Remember, this is in the Scholastic Book Club.
Yeah, I read this as like a 10-year-old.
But it's good. It's good. Like 10-year-olds need to kind of like. I'm not saying like whatever show like dumb fucking war shit to kids, turn them into jingoistic bastards. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like, you know, show your kid, I don't know, Saving Private Ryan or something.
Right.
But like, you know, expose them to life not being fair.
Yeah, this is,
you know,
kids are seeing here a performative take on war.
Right.
And the cost of war and the cost of what you lose by going to war. But they don't recognize it as war. It's like, oh, we're killing space slugs.
It's a vaccinated version of war,
Yeah.
where it is just like, okay, it's aliens and shit. Like, this isn't like a real war that we would experience because Yerks aren't real, we think.
No, it's lizard people.
Yeah, it's definitely lizard people. Look into it. Do your research.
Yeah. Our cheese pizza's here.
Oh, hey. But like, you know, it's a vaccinated version because there's enough fantasy in it, but at the same time, it's giving you the idea of like, hey, if there's some actual shit going on, this is how you would feel,
right?
Like, or like when you encounter a bad experience in life that will just change the way your life trajectory is going. This is what feelings might come up, and this is how you deal with it, and you kind of work through it in your brain.
Yeah, every single thing becomes a loss.
Right, exactly. And this is a book of how to deal with loss. This is a series of how to deal with loss.
Yeah, and it's really fucking good.
Yeah,
when the characters are good.
Jake does not have this journey.
Nope.
He does not.
No, he doesn't.
But that's Rachel.
We're just gonna let that pass.
That's the death of Rachel's hope. I mean, it's hard.
It's not hope, because like she still hopes for shit.
No, it's the death of her childhood.
Yes.
And we, as kids and as adults, we don't know when that's happening.
No.
But Rachel definitely knows.
There's a clear line.
She's like, okay, this is who I am. This is it.
It is responsibilities when you're just like, nobody else will do this.
Yeah.
This is on me, and I have to do it, even though it
hurts and it sucks.
And it's a sacrifice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why she wants power, right? Like, that's what she wants power, is because
she's powerless.
She's currently, it's not that, you know, not in the situation. She has plenty of power. She has the elephant.
Well, she doesn't feel it.
Right, exactly. She doesn't feel in control of her life. Yeah, because like the responsibility, she has to do it.
No, and she tries to run, which is why she left her house, which is why she left Tobias.
Right.
She tried to find something she control, and the only thing we can ever really control is what our bodies do. And so she takes the most powerful thing she can think of and integrates that into her body.
Yeah.
That's fucking sick shit. That's awesome.
Get that bear body.
I have one. It's not good. I get sweaty.
No, it's just the corona.
And I come.
That's also the corona.
Yeah. So it's sad, but I was through shit like this in these books, I am compelled. This is compelling writing for children.
Right.
It's
digestible writing for children too, I think.
For sure, yeah. And I mean, it's simplified, but it's dealing with something complex in a really simplified manner, which I think is a skill a lot of, quote, great writers can't get.
Well, complexity doesn't add to the message sometimes.
No.
Like, sometimes it doesn't need to be, written in prose to have impact.
No. That's a great point.
Yeah.
That's why I think these books are better than Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah. Well, Harry Potter doesn't have prose. They have butterbeer. It's beer that tastes like sugar? I don't know. Like
dump butter in it?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like fucking, here's your fat beer, you dumb piece of shit.
Eat a chocolate frog, you fucking idiot. Dumb moron. Grizzlebees fucking painted pots of golden can. Is that Harry Potter? I don't know.
Grizzlebees?
Is that a Harry Potter thing? Gringotts. Grizzlebees is...
Oh, that's where the Semitic goblins are there.
Yeah.
We know what you're doing, H.K. Rowling. We know that you just hate the Jews.
We got it.
We solved your mystery.
Smash cut. Chapter 9.
Yeah.
They're at the mall.
Right.
Cassie and Rachel head to the fucking Gap because they are going to go...
Is Axe with them?
No, Axe is with Jake and Marco.
Because you don't bring Axe to the mall.
But they did, and he does not disappoint. The one little bit of Axe was like... So they go to the mall. Mm-hmm. They all meet up as the group. And they're like, okay, we're going to go different dressing rooms. And what they say about Axe is fucking genius. Do you remember it?
No.
They're like, yeah, it was a little tough with Axe. He tried to eat some cigarettes.
Hey, man, we've all been there.
Axe, he loves to fucking eat. Because that boy, he loves to eat.
Well, I get it. Like, cigarettes can taste good. Like, as someone who has enjoyed smoking every so often.
Yeah, like a good drunk cigarette, that's pretty fucking sweet.
Right. So, Axe is getting that taste.
Yeah. So they meet at the Gap.
Yeah.
They decide, we're going to turn into cockroaches. We're going to wait for someone to open the door.
And they've done cockroaches before, right?
They have. They did cockroaches. They hated it.
Right.
Because they got fucking murdered.
Right, but they're used to it.
Well, they were
now.
getting stomped. They didn't get murdered. Ants got stomped.
Yeah, the ants are the worst idea.
They don't go with ants.
They don't go with ants. They go with cockroaches, which makes sense to me, honestly. Like, it's something they're used to. It's
They're
something
fast.
that's small.
It's something they can control.
Yeah.
The senses are good enough that they can just do whatever they want.
Yeah, this is their stealth morph. This is when they don't want to be seen.
Good one.
Right,
Stealth morph. So they wait for a controller to open the door. And someone does, and they're walking down a little ramp following this controller. They let them get ahead because they don't want to get stepped on.
Right.
They've kind of learned a little bit.
Well, it's my biggest fear. If I was a cockroach, that's what I would be afraid of.
So they're going down the ramp, and they're like, well, what the fuck do we do?
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know. Where do we go? What do we smell? And then, like, Axe is like, I smell French fries.
Well, but it works out, though.
Yeah. So they're like, oh, yeah, I do smell French fries. Let's all go to the French fries.
Well, because they know that they're in the pool area, but now that they're in the pool area, they're looking for the Kandrona.
They're looking for the Kandrona, and they're like, what if we just listen to somebody talk?
Right. But they can't because they're cockroaches.
Yeah, they smell French fries, and like, well, if I smell food, chances are there's going to be humans eating that food.
Not the worst logic, but like at this, why didn't they turn into like rats or mice or some sort of mammal that can like actually hear things?
Oh, they're going to turn into rats. Don't worry about it.
I wasn't.
It's fine. But they probably don't do that because in Rachel's last book, she turned into the shrew and couldn't control it.
Oh,
She's
okay.
scared.
That's good.
But
Yeah,
they
kinda
knew the
they have
cockroach.
practice, right? Like with the hospital
Yeah,
thing.
They
like
can control the cockroach. They can
Yeah.
do whatever.
Yeah.
They get down to the Yerk pool and they describe it like this. And I think it's a fairly good description.
Okay.
In the center of the area was the pool itself, a sludgy, muddy-looking lake that seemed to seethe with the massive Yerk slugs in it. But that was not the worst of it. 2 piers were built over the lake. One was where the controllers, human, Hork-Bajir, Taxxon, and other species, disgorged the Yerks from their heads.
That's a great word, by the way.
Isn't that great?
Disgorged.
Disgorged the Yerks from their heads. Hork-Bajir guards would watch carefully as each controller knelt at the far end of the pier, held his head down close to the surface of the lake. The Yerk slug would then slither out of the host's ear and drop with a flat splash into the lake. That's when you would discover whether the controller was a voluntary host or someone who had been taken against his will. See, the voluntary host, the ones had chosen to turn themselves over to the Yeerks, would stand up and calmly walk away. The involuntary host would realize that they were temporarily free of the evil alien in their heads, that they once more had control over their own minds and bodies. Some would scream, some would cry, many would beg to be released. A few would try to escape, but the Hork-Bajir were there to grab them and haul them to cages. That's where they would await the moment when they would be taken to the second pier.
So, I have questions about, like, and this is stuff that will be answered eventually, I'm sure. Like, the voluntary controller thing still doesn't get me. Like, what's the benefit of being a voluntary controller?
What was the benefit of being a Jew that helped the Nazis? There wasn't one. They're using you. Yeah,
okay. So I guess like they get like better treatment in the jail. Is that right? I mean, like, yeah. Okay, so we're moving. So they're in the Yeerk pool. They have found the smell.
Yeah, they go to the smell. So they go to the food. They do not realize that a certain alien loves eating cockroach.
Oh yeah. No, like
the Taxxon. They get in there.
Remind me what the Taxxons look like again.
They are giant centipedes with jello red eyes and mouths full of teeth with long red tongues.
So they have like an aardvark tongue. And it's like
much,
sticky and whips around everywhere.
Yes. And they immediately get fucking eaten by a Taxxon. Slurped
That's so great because like I knew that they would get eaten. Right? Like I always had a feeling that because like that's how Prince Elfangor got right? Like he was eaten alive, whole,
was eaten alive,
which is terrifying and like hot for some people. They call it vor.
That was in my notes that Catherine Alice Applegate is pro vor, but it's.
Are you pro vor, Tyler? Do you like?
Look, I'm not gonna kink shame anyone.
So you're not anti vor, but it's not you.
I mean, I can see what people like about it, but it's not for me.
You don't want to be eaten whole by like a sexy babe?
No, I like eating whole, okay?
Yeah, they get eaten. They get vored.
And
I was looking at this and like, how are they going to transform and get out of this jam, right? Like that was my reaction. Is like that's what I would do. If I was being eaten, I'd just be like, okay, I'll just turn into a human and just bust out all cool. Like, but that doesn't happen.
Yeah, everything freezes.
Time freezes.
And stop.
And I was like, what?
Yeah, you didn't know this shit was coming.
No, I had no clue. Because nobody would have enough weird shit. Here's the thing. I think every single like fantasy or sci-fi book series has a saturation level of things that are not part of the human experience, right? And I think Animorphs was kind of at that side. I have gotten used to the idea of transforming. I have accepted this as part of what is part of this reality, and like I was there. My disbelief.
Like, this is the world. This is the world we're in. This is the rule.
Right. My belief in the world has been solidified. I know what is real, know what is not real,
and this fucks it.
This breaks everything because time freezes.
Time freezes.
Time is frozen.
They're humans outside of the Taxxon.
Right.
Tobias is there in human form.
Right. And so like, this is some quantum leap shit. This is some like, okay. Here's the thing. How much Star Trek have you watched?
I mean, I would not say a lot, but enough to be familiar with it.
Okay. Do you know the character Q?
Explain it to me as if I don't. Because I do not.
Well, here's the character Q.
Treat me like I'm fucking dumb.
So
hit me with a car. Step on me.
Okay, so Q is this character in Star Trek that he's not like a god because there's no like real like there's some religious stuff in Star Trek, but like mainly it's like he is effectively a god because he controls the reality that we perceive. Right? He shows up and he's just like, I'm just here to have fun and mess around with people lower than me.
Like Tim Allen.
Like a Tim Allen. Right? So I mean, like, you know, he's not necessarily like malicious, but he's also not beneficial. He's just there because he's bored. And this character that we now know as the Elemist, he is effectively Q. He, from my perspective, look. Well, here let's get into like what's happening.
They're like, what the fuck is happening? Tobias is like, whoa, I'm fucking human. What is going on? And then Axe says,
they just wander around for a bit, like time's frozen. What's going on? Axe has an idea of what's happening.
Axe says, this is not Yeerk technology. I can tell you that. Axe said, This is far beyond them, far beyond us Andalites as well. And then that's when we get all capitals.
What? Humility from an Andalite.
Ah! Marco screamed. The voice came from everywhere at once and from nowhere. It wasn't a voice, not really. It wasn't even thought speak. It was like an idea that simply popped into your head. The words exploded like bursting balloons inside your own thoughts. I spun around, looking for the source, ready to fight if necessary.
No, Rachel, there is no threat.
It knows your name, Tobias hissed. I glanced at Axe. He had gone rigid. He wasn't frozen like all the world around us. He was afraid. He was shaking.
Aximili Esgaroth Istil has begun to guess who I am.
Elemist, Axe said.
Do not be afraid. I will appear in physical form that you can understand.
Okay, let's describe his physical form. He says, I'm going to turn into something you can understand.
Yeah.
So here is what that is. The air opened. He appeared. He was humanoid. 2 arms, 2 legs, a head where a human head would be. His skin was glowing blue, as if he were a light bulb that had been painted over so that the light still shone from him. He seemed like an old man, but with a force of energy that was definitely not frail. His hair was long and white. His ears were swept up into points. His eyes were black holes that seemed to be full of stars.
Okay, do you know who this is?
Gandalf the White?
No, this is Lopan.
The wealthy industrialist?
Yeah, like this from Big Trouble in Little China. This is Lopan, like where he's just like the kind of like like.
Oh boy. Look, we came here to see David Lopan, all right?
Ah?
David Lopan?
And you have succeeded, Mr. Burton. Shut up, Mr. Burton. You are not brought upon this world to get it.
He's made out of latex,
he
pointy.
Sees Rachel and Cassie. He's like, oh, 2 girls with great eyes. What is this?
Yeah,
Oh.
because like when they were talking about like, oh, he's glowing like a light bulb. Like in that movie, like Lopan glows. There's like they stick a light bulb into like this fake latex head, and it kind of like starts glowing. That's why I was picturing this.
And he says, I am an elemist, so there's more of them.
Well, yeah, there's a whole race of these like, gods. They're gods.
Yeah,
Like, they just control everything.
Axe goes on to explain that they're all powerful. They can cross 1 million light years in a single instant. They can make entire worlds disappear. They can stop time itself. And then
like they're all
introduce that character, and it's like, what the fuck? A living god shows up.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, they just jumped the shark early, didn't they? Like, because like it turned into like whatever they're meeting. Like if we're doing the Joseph Campbell thing, like this is the sage. This is the person who will guide them through the story. This is the
The Elemist shows up.
He shows up, and like I know what his role is. He is now Zordon. He's going to be the guiding voice, teaching everyone a lesson at the end of these books.
It's a nice, like, I hate it as an adult. I hate it because like, oh, there's a greater power on the side of good. That's fucking stupid.
Sure.
But as a child who's reading this thinking,
yeah,
well, maybe we're not alone, and maybe God isn't dead, and maybe there is hope. Maybe there's something greater on our side.
Maybe God isn't dead.
Maybe God isn't dead. Maybe
he's just like an indifferent alien who likes to fuck with you.
Maybe there's just some indifferent, powerful force rooting for you. And they
or maybe not. Like
maybe not. Maybe he's just like, fuck you.
Because like what happens after this? So, like he freezes time. And it
like,
gives them like a fun offer.
Yeah, he's like, look, you humans are dumb as fuck.
Right.
You're stupid. Let me actually read to you what he says to them. In all the universe, no greater beauty. In 1,000,000 worlds, no greater art than this. That's what he says about Earth.
Yeah.
And then he says this about humans, which I might put this on my resume. Humans, crude, primitive, but capable of understanding. So he recognizes worth in humanity. This all-knowing, all-powerful space god sees something of beauty in these tiny, primitive little pieces of shit, which is why I'm going to say I see something beautiful in COVID-19.
Yeah, like it's beautiful in a way. It has those little pointy things.
It has those little spikes.
Hey, we have a 3% chance of one of the people in this podcast dying.
I hope it's me. But he shows them the beauty of undersea. He shows them the African Sahara.
Right.
Shows them a
They
jungle.
go on like a wonder tour of
It's
like how great
it's like
Earth
when
is.
Arthur meets the wizard in Hitchhiker's Guide. He's like,
Right.
I built this planet. Look at how beautiful it is.
It's not a wizard.
That's just the song, though. Remember?
Arthur meets a wizard?
Well, no, the song's called like Journey to the Source or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you remember that song's fucking dope?
Yeah, that's a
Look
good
it
song.
up. Hitchhiker's Guide, Journey to the Sorcerer, something like that.
Yeah.
Dope song.
No, it is a great song. I'll play a little bit now.
That's it. Isn't it great?
Yeah, it's
fucking
great.
good.
And like I like that style of music. It should make a comeback. But like
But he's like,
But yeah, like
look at how beautiful this is.
Look at creation. You guys didn't even. You were a side effect, humanity. Like
Yeah.
you didn't even
And
appreciate it.
And then he shows them this painting, and he's like, "You see the beauty? It's not all there, but there is beauty in art.
Yeah, like
and you humans are capable of creating and appreciating
Right.
beauty.
You have potential to like appreciate the shit you got.
Yeah,
Which like I like. And speaking of Douglas Adams, like my favorite book of his, and or just in general, my favorite book period, is the Emma List coming up. No, it's not. It's Last Chance to See, which
good book.
Yeah, Douglas Adams goes and like looks at animals that are about to be extinct, and we later learn like a lot of them do go extinct.
Yeah, most of them I think are now gone.
Yeah, and like it's him realizing that we were given the opportunity to really appreciate the uniqueness of nature, and we just don't care.
Yeah,
We have the potential to, but like we'll only realize it until it's too late.
yeah,
And so that's kind of what the MLS is saying. It's like, hey, listen, you guys have a lot of cool shit here, to simplify it. But like, no, you have a lot of beauty, you have a lot of complexity that you are underappreciating, and you have the potential to understand it, and I'm here to help you understand that.
yeah.
Please look at everything you have here. We're gonna put you in a zoo.
well, so here's what I love about this little bit.
Yeah.
He says to the Animorphs, if you all agree to it, I'm offering you a choice.
Yeah.
You and your loved ones and a select few can be instantly teleported to a planet where you
Politicians and like, trendsetters, right?
yeah, influencers, so like the best politicians.
Right. Whoever's on The Masked Singer, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll get to go to our human zoo.
But he's like, I'll send you to a planet. We will not interfere. You will be allowed to grow and evolve as humans would have here without the Yerks. And Cassie's like, hell yeah, let's do it. And Tobias immediately says,
well, because Cassie knows zoos pretty well. They're like, it doesn't seem so bad.
Well, before that, they're like, oh, that actually sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
And then Tobias is the one who breaks it and says,
Right.
he's talking about a zoo.
Yeah, he's the one that calls it what it is.
He's putting us in a zoo.
Yeah, he's like, when I was reading that, I was kind of agreeing too. Because like, I was just like, okay, we get ourselves, it is a Noah's Ark, of plants and animals and life. And we just set it here and...
Yeah, he says we don't mess with any sentient life.
Yeah, it's there for like archival purposes,
Right.
right? Like you're there to be a record for the future of what
Right.
Earth was.
You, Billy Pilgrim, a few of your closest friends. Yeah, fucking Vonnegut reference here. I'm fucking smart. Because they were in a zoo. Remember, he got put in the zoo with that porn star and he fucked.
Put a tweet. Did a chick?
I never imagined combining Dark Tower with Slaughterhouse-5.
I did it as soon as I read Put a tweet. I'm like, yeah, I did a check. Did a check.
Everything's ugly and it always hurts.
Um,
But he gives them this offer.
yeah.
And he's like, vote right now. And they're like, whoa, we need some time. He's like, no, vote now.
And like, that's why I'm like, he's teaching you a lesson, you dumb idiots.
Yeah.
Because
And-
because if you are a benevolent, like, space god,
Yeah.
you're just like, think on it for a second. This is an actual offer. It's not like he couldn't just like snap and just like remove.
Right, he
the
could
Earths.
have done it already.
Yeah.
If he was so all powerful, he
Right.
could have just taken a shitload of innocent people and put them on the planet, which who knows he may have done. You know,
I guess.
but he takes them back to the Yerk pool and he's like, "This is your decision," and they're looking around and they're like, "All right, fine,
Yeah.
whatever." Tobias is like, "No, I'm not going to do that."
Yeah.
And Rachel even says, "No, we're not doing that." Axe is like, whatever, I'm an Andalite. I'll do whatever Prince Jake wants.
Well, because that's the right decision, though, from his perspective.
Yeah.
It's like, this isn't my choice. I'm not human.
Yeah, he's like, I'm just going to do whatever Prince Jake wants. And Marco's like, no. Cassie's like, we have to do it. And Jake's like, oh, no, man. So they vote.
Marco wasn't no initially, right? Like, he was kind of just, like, indifferent about the whole thing.
Yeah, he was thinking about it, and then he also became a no. I think he remembered his mom. And was like, no, we're not going to do that.
Right.
But they vote, we're not going to do that.
Right.
And
The two yes votes are for Jake and Cassie, right?
Yeah.
Which Jake, again, like, he's the leader, right? So he should be making his case.
He makes no case.
He makes no case. He's like, Planet sounds cool.
Yeah. He's like, do they have basketball and stunts for me to do? Jake.
Jake's going to go to a farm upstate.
But they decide against it.
Yeah.
They decide against doing it, and the Alchemist is like, very well, you'll be returned to right where you were. Everything exactly as it was. No help from me. And if you survive, I'm going to ask you one more time.
And again, which is why ask? Like, if you know, why go through this process where you're just going to take a random smattering of people?
Right.
We learn the answer for that later. But like right now, it's just like, okay, and unfreeze, and they're stuck to like a weird Taxxon tongue.
Yeah, they're in the Taxxon tongue. They get swallowed down to the stomach.
Yeah.
And they're like, fuck this, we're morphing.
Well, yeah, because like
that's what they have to do.
That was my original plan. It was just like, okay, if I'm getting sucked into like this weird centipede monster, I'll go brig. And just like blast out.
Yeah, they start morphing out. Axe grows his tail, slices that bitch open so they can breathe. And now they're in a room, half morphed, full of controllers.
Right. And here's the thing is that Rachel realized something that the rest didn't.
What's that?
Is that Rachel got a hint when they were, talking with the Emelist.
Yeah.
Is that she realized like, oh, I know how to get out of here.
Yeah, they're like, we got to run to the invisible elevator.
Right, because when she was like, she didn't even consider the offer. Like that's when you realize that like, she didn't give it consideration because she was looking for opportunities when time unfroze.
Yeah, she was looking around like, what the fuck?
What do I do when this is done? Mm-hmm. Right, it's like, okay, there's an elevator that goes up. I bet you that goes to where the Kandrona is. Mm-hmm. Right, because
or at least a way out of here.
Oh, yeah, or something. It goes up. Right. And I want to be up because that's where a pool isn't.
Right.
And so, like, think about anyone she was so quickly done with that conversation that she was thinking of strategies, like she was doing 2 steps ahead because she didn't even consider it.
Because she's a leader.
Yeah. Well, not that she's a leader, but like she's resolute in her ideals. Mm-hmm. She knows deep down what she wants. Mm-hmm. That's it.
I know, and that's
and like
that makes her stronger than most of these characters,
right? And it can be a weakness though. Like being so dedicated into one thing, like being single-minded, is useful in some situations and not in others. In this case, it happened to be useful because she was just like, "Nah, I don't want it." Okay, that way.
Get out of here, space eyes. We don't want any.
Right. So she pointed everyone to the direction of the elevator.
Yeah, and they're like, "Whoa, we got a battle morph."
Well, yeah, because it's time to fight. Like they see someone like bust out of a Taxxon.
Yeah,
like the Andalite warriors are here.
Yeah, the Andalites. Which my thought with this was like, well, now they know you're humans.
Yeah, like the gig is up. And I was every single one of these books from here forward, I think I'm like, the jig is up. They know that they're not human anymore, right? But no, they kill everyone in there. Yeah, like that's their solution.
They murder almost everybody. And Rachel's like, all right, we're going to be a fucking bear.
We're?
Well, she is.
Her and the bear.
Yeah.
Well, everyone turns into the battle. She does not tell everybody
that she got a bear.
And nobody knows.
She's never morphed the bear.
She's never morphed the bear. We now know that like the animal kind of takes control at first. Mm-hmm. Like you really got to get used to it.
The bear took control.
The bear was just like, well, because she wanted the bear to take control. Mm-hmm. I think that she wanted to
she wanted her power back.
She wanted the power. The bear wanted to have power. And the bear went fucking nuts.
It fucking killed everyone. Like she's like, I could feel Hork-Bajir slashing into me. I caved his chest in.
Right. It was just like it was rip and tear for like a good couple of pages, and like. Who stays behind? Is it Axe?
So it's Axe and Rachel that are cordoned off by everyone else.
Yeah, the rest are running up the elevator.
Yeah. So they fight all these people. They're heading up the elevator. Jake's like, come on, Rachel, figure out who you are. You're with us.
Yeah, you're a bear. Stop being a bear.
So Rachel, in bear form, runs to kill Jake. And they're going up the space elevator, and the bear's just swiping at the tiger, trying to fucking kill Jake. Which, honestly, best decision anyone's ever made.
Oh, and
when she finally
good ritual.
When she realized, oh yeah, I'm a human, I can't kill this tiger.
Yeah.
And she morphs back, and she goes home. They all go home. They get away.
It's one of those hard cuts that I just,
They just do hard cuts because, writing coherent story is hard.
Well, I mean, a story that moves in this way, like whatever. You don't want to write the transition of then they walked home.
Yeah.
And then
they turn into birds. Then they turn human. Then they turn birds. And they go home.
Whatever. I'm fine with like it cutting the scene. I just wish that there were some thoughts that happened.
And honestly, I think this cut works better than most because she goes home.
Yeah.
With no shoes, absolutely ragged. In her morph suit, and her mom's like, why are you coming home late not wearing shoes? And she's like, whatever, I was at Cassie's, I left them there, I'm going to bed.
Drugs.
Yeah. And so she goes to bed. Somehow I made it home. I crawled into my bed and fell instantly asleep. I didn't wake up till next morning when my alarm went off. I was groggy and barely able to read the numbers on my clock.
Was she hibernating?
Ooh, she was in a state of torpor.
She got that torpor.
So she goes to sleep, wakes up, mom's like, bitch, we're going to talk about this. You came home late, not wearing shoes, looking like garbage.
Responsible parent thing to do.
Right. Get your sisters ready for school.
Right.
Fucking go. And Rachel's like, I'm going to take a shower. She's like, listen to me. You need to get your sisters ready. She's like, can I shower or not? Completely stonewalls her mom.
Well, yeah, but I think the mom is being pushy. A little because Rachel came home in like a hot mess and she's like, Mom, I just want to shower. Mom, I just want to shower. You're not listening. I just want to shower.
Right.
Like at that point, as a parent, you listen to like what this person is saying. Like they just need a shower right now. School's not important.
Okay, fair enough.
But she eventually gets her shower, right? Like
she does. All she does is shower. She tells her sister to get the other sister ready.
Yeah.
She's going
Mom goes to work.
Mom goes to work. The sisters go to school. She stays home, and she says this is the first time she's ever skipped school.
Right. Why did she do that?
Because she's fucking shell-shocked.
Yeah.
I think so.
She went too deep into the bear, do you think?
I think she went too deep into the bear and that all of the stress in her life is just too much. Dams break.
Yeah.
Rachel is broken. That's what this chapter is. She's fucking broken.
She's having a personal day.
So she, a few chapters ago, got offered a chance to leave the Animorphs.
Yeah.
And last chapter, she got offered a chance to leave the war. Like she would have perfect respite away from all this war.
Right. She had a complete out. She was the deciding vote, really.
She was.
Yeah.
And she will be again.
Yeah, you're right. She was the deciding vote. She chose to stay. And, she was confident in her decision, but she's still mourning that loss still. And I think her going, wilding out in the bear was a sign of just, she has anger.
Anger, PTSD, and she dissociates.
Right. And she is finding ways to deal with this that are not necessarily healthy. Right?
No. How do you?
Well, you don't. You just have a personal day. You take a shower when you're dirty and you sleep it off. That's all you can do. There's no, you can't pop a couple Valiums and this will go away forever.
And so she's vegging at home, watching TV.
Right.
Thinking about, one, the people screaming after getting the yerks out of their brains.
Right.
She's thinking of the Elemis offer.
Yeah.
She's thinking of all this shit. One life she could have is just normal, watching TV. The other one, she's a warrior. And it's...
Does she snap? Is this the snap that happens where she's just I'm done. I'm done.
Yeah. And you know what brings that on?
What?
She sees her dad on TV. She sees her dad on TV. She turns it on and realizes that the dad is talking about leaving. So she turns the TV off and starts screaming at the TV. She's like, what am I supposed to do? I yelled suddenly, shocking myself. What am I supposed to do? My voice sounded flat and dead in the silence of the kitchen. I felt foolish. It wasn't like me to get all emotional. I stood there, just staring at the cupboards. The cupboards. The Elemist. The bear. My father. What was I supposed to do? Leave my mom and sister? Leave my dad? Leave my friends? Leave the whole messed up planet? I imagined going to see my father down at the convention center. Dad, I have this problem. He would put his arm around me and fluff out the hair the way he always did and say, "Come on, kid, don't be so serious." That's when he turns on the TV, sees his dad talking about leaving. She turns it off again, and she says, "I felt sick inside, like I had swallowed broken glass. I needed to get out of the house. I needed to stop thinking. I went upstairs and opened my bedroom window. Several minutes later, a large bald eagle flew from my window and soared high into the sky." She completely disassociated. She didn't say I flew. She says a bald eagle flew.
Right. Yeah. One of my favorite details in this entire scene, where like the breaking scene, because she snapped.
She's gone.
Is that she makes a sandwich? Yeah. Like she makes a grilled cheese sandwich. She goes through the detail, like, she puts the cheese onto the bread and puts it into the pan and fries it up, and it's this perfect grilled cheese sandwich, comfort food. And then she throws it away. Like, it's like, I need to do something to help myself. I guess I like grilled cheese. I'm making a grilled cheese sandwich, but it's something that people do in panic. They want to do something reliable and comforting.
Right.
But she throws away because she knows that it will not solve the problem that she has currently.
Right.
And so it's she has no solutions, and she's desperately grasping for solutions.
Right.
But there's none to be had. So all she needs to do is just disassociate and become a bird.
Yeah. Which I mean, what else is she going to do?
Well, I mean, she's pulling it to bias. She's just like, she is, I need to not be human anymore. I can't be a human.
And honestly, I think she's having the most true and probably accurate reaction to this out of everyone else.
She appreciates it in a different way, I think.
Oh, for sure. She's taking it seriously that I don't think the others did. And I think that gets illustrated very well in the next chapter.
Because she had a good life. I think, like, out of, like, Marco had, like, some problems, with my mom is dead.
Mommy!
Right.
Mommy go dead.
Yeah, Marco's mom is dead. Or not. Whatever, it doesn't matter. And then, Tobias has his issues. Right, and Jake's a smooth brain, and Cassie's a coward.
Let's give Jake a fair credit. Even his life was not perfect. The start of this series, Jake failed to get on the basketball team. He wasn't living. No, just hear me out.
Okay,
he wasn't living up to these standards that had been set for him.
Sure,
his life was not perfect. Rachel's life was perfect.
Right, she was the model, had everything.
The gymnast. She was down to earth. She's smart. She's strong.
Well, I mean, like. My thing, though, is that, like, whatever, it's a divorced household. Like, everything's not perfect. But, like, she had a life that she would want to live.
Right.
More so than the others. And, like, I think with Jake and Cassie, their whole character thing is just together. Like, they're the relationship couple. So they just can't have that, like, my life is perfect because, like, oh, they're not together. Like, I think that's where that thing is going. But for Rachel specifically, is that she had a lot to lose, and she's losing it.
Yeah, and the other people are not recognizing their own loss.
Well, and like, she had higher to fall, and now that she's actually hit the bottom, like, she's just, I need to be a bird. And
I need to be a bird. I need to be the strong one.
And like, birds are the thing that the Animorphs turn into when they just don't know what to do with their life anymore.
Right.
Which is why Tobias is a forever bird. Is that, like,
he didn't have a life. He didn't
have a life.
Tobias could have escaped, but he's like, I'm just a bird now.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. Is that, like, all the time they're turning back into humans in the situations that they probably shouldn't. But Tobias is like, what? He was trapped in a York pool and he had to fly around for a long time?
Yeah.
Like, was that it?
That's it.
Maybe not. Like,
he chose it.
He chose to be a bird, and because he was escaping his human life, and Rachel now is escaping her human life,
right?
Because she
broke.
The responsibility was too much at this point in time.
Which, this is a crisis of conscience, a crisis of faith. It's all of it in one, and I think it's handled beautifully.
Yeah.
Probably the most emotionally mature book yet, I would say, other than Tobias's.
Yeah,
that's the best book of this fucking series.
Tobias had some, like, real suicidal thoughts.
Yeah, that was.
Whereas I don't think Rachel's having those.
No,
but she's having, like, escape fantasies, which is like the step on that staircase.
Right. I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend. Cut ties with all the lies that you've been living in.
Yeah. Coronavirus coming over and burning us all clean. Topical humor.
Yeah.
It will be a lot funnier in, like, a couple of weeks from now, I'm sure.
Right. When I'm dead.
Somebody's dead. It's going to kill somebody. It's not going to kill us.
It's going to kill me. I'm on the fucking front lines.
Welcome to Animorphin Time with Nate.
Please continue this if I die. Please continue
I have
this.
to do all 50 fucking books?
Yeah. And you'd be like, this is what Tyler would say. And this is what I'd say. And this is what Tyler would say. It'd probably be something about jacking off.
Okay, but I'll do it, but I'll have to run back and forth between the mics because I bought these mics.
Yeah, you got to use both of them.
Yeah. So they meet up in Cassie's barn after
Rachel's freak out.
Yeah.
And they're like, Rachel. So stark contrast in how Rachel's doing versus the rest of them.
Yeah.
The rest of them are just hanging out. It even says that, oh God, Jake and Marco were lolling on bales of hay.
I read that as lolling.
Lolling? Well, either one.
Lol, laugh out loud.
But these two dumb fucks were just playing in hay.
These stupid hayseeds just like sitting there chewing the hay, talking about clouds.
Space God offered us a way off of this war. I want to roll in hay with my best friend. So Rachel shows up.
Yeah.
No makeup, hair not did, wearing her same morph suit, no shoes. And they're like,
she went on a bird bender.
So they're like, hard night, huh? Ooh.
It's like, you ever have a coworker come into work with like a black eye or something?
Yes.
Yeah. I imagine it's probably like that feeling where it's just like, what have you been doing all night?
Right. And they're like, are you doing okay? And Tobias he says, I noticed there was an eagle just flying in circles. So that was you, huh? And she's like, yeah, what about it? Fuck off. I mean, she even is like, yeah, I did this. So what? And Jake's like, well, I guess that's okay.
Well, because like, this is one of the few times where Tobias is just like at a loss.
Yeah.
I think, and like at a loss and intimidated. I think there was I'm not going to confront Rachel on this feeling.
Yeah. And
coming at him.
So this is the best we got. Jake jumped up and stood right in front of me, his face just inches from mine. Don't give me your sarcasm, Rachel. You are acting really weird. That's everyone's business, because if you do something stupid, we could all end up paying the price. You could go and acquire a grizzly. Without backup, you could have been killed. So what? I shot back. You are the Elemist. We're doomed. It's going to be Yerkes 1, Human 0, we lose. So who cares about anything? Who cares if I skip school to go flying? Suddenly, Jake just sagged. I don't know, Rachel. I don't have any answers. I'm sick of trying to have answers. You decide. I don't want to argue with you. I don't know what your problem is, but you know what? You deal with it.
The classic Jake move of just like, whatever, figure it out.
Yeah, it's like, whatever your problem is, you can miss me with that. I'm Jake.
What a great leader. Always like,
he's naturally a leader. We all just turn to him with our problems, and he says, I don't know what your problem is, but fuck off. Gee, what a fucking hate him.
You know, he's not like the best leader. He's the best manager. He's a very good manager.
Yeah, he just sits there. He's like, well, we could be doing better, but we're not. I'm just going to have a little sit down.
Okay, so one thing that I think we need to make clear is that the Emlist said that they're going to lose.
Yeah,
hard.
He said, you're going to die.
Right. He said, like, listen, I can see the future. I am the Emlist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm God. Like, look, I froze time.
Yeah.
Isn't this cool? You're going to die.
You're going to die. The Yerks take this planet.
Right.
You better come with me to my fancy zoo.
Yeah. And so that probably contributed to the snap.
Yeah. And none of the other fuckers are even as remotely haggard as her. I mean, I guess she says that I've never seen Jake look so tired. 1 minute he was being strong, sensible Jake, leader of the Animorphs. The next minute he looked exhausted.
Well, they're all tapped by it, but I think, like, you know, it's in proportion to how passionate they were about the mission.
Right.
Right.
Marco rolling in hay.
Marco and Jake are just like having a fun time in
Yeah.
hay. Cassie is just like thinking about horses.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to fix this kestrel.
Right. The only one who's probably out of sorts is Tobias.
And he was, because he didn't offer any advice or the right words to Rachel.
Right. Yeah. No, Rachel's the one that's here for the long run, along with Tobias.
And she even...
And
she goes off on them. She's like, it's like, what am I supposed to do? I yelled. After what happened last night, after all that, I have to decide who I want to hurt, my mom or my dad and you guys. And come on, Rachel, Marco said kindly. Take it easy. Come on, you're Xena. No, I am not some stupid TV character, Marco.
yeah, good for Rachel, too.
I'm not some comic book. I'm scared, okay? Just like the rest of you. I'm scared of what almost happened to me last night. I'm scared just knowing that place exists down there. I'm scared about what happens to me. I just wanted to run away, but I didn't think I could, so I was brave because that's the way I'm supposed to be. But now everyone's going, oh, just come live with me and we'll go to ball games. And hey, forget moving to another state. We have a whole other planet for you. And all the more exits I see, the more scared I get, all right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Right. And like, what it is everyone's misunderstanding of what bravery is.
Right.
Like, she's afraid and has all the same worries that they do.
Yeah, and Marco even says, yeah, next time the Elemis asks, I'm going to zoo. I'm going to be the Marco exhibit at the zoo. He doesn't say that because he's not that funny. I'm funnier than Marco.
I'd say yeah.
But thank you. But he says that he's going to change his vote. And Marco says, Rachel's losing it. If she loses it, how long are the rest of us going to
So,
last?
like, his only motivation was dependent on how Rachel behaves.
Yeah, he's like, that's the strongest one of us. And if the strongest one of us can't take this shit, hey, let's fold this thing up. Let's go home.
But, like, that's Marco's misunderstanding of, like, strength, I guess. Like, is that, like, everything affects everybody else differently.
Right.
And, like, you know, he is categorizing people in ways that he shouldn't.
Right.
Which is a Marco move.
That's definitely a Marco move. And he even says, this was always insane, right from the start, Marco said. A handful of kids fighting an alien invasion. Look what's happening. Tobias is trapped in a morph. Rachel is starting to use morphing to get away from her problems.
Like it's a drug, which I think is great.
The other night, I woke up in bed and didn't know what I was. I didn't know if I had hands or fins or claws or talons. Maybe you and Cassie are immune, Jake, but I doubt it. So it's like, Jake, you're a dumb pussy.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jake's immune, I think, because he's
so dumb. He
doesn't register on it. He's that episode. You've seen Futurama, right?
Yeah.
He's that episode where Fry is able to fight the giant brains.
Oh, because he's so dumb.
Because he's so dumb, and they just can't like take over his brain because there's nothing there.
Right. The earth just slides right off.
Just slides right off. It's death.
And so they're arguing.
Yeah.
And they're arguing, and they're like, so they vote again. Marco looked at me. Then Jake and Cassie and Tobias all looked at me. The vote was now 2 against 2. I was the deciding vote. It would mean no more battles. It would mean that somewhere, wherever the Elemis took us, there would be no job in another state for my dad. There would be no more painful decisions for me to make. I opened my mouth. I started to speak. I promised I would ask you again. Uh-oh, Marco said. I will show you what you need to understand.
And now we're going on a wild ride.
And the Elemis takes them to Future Town.
Welcome to Future Town. Everything is hell.
In an instant, they're teleported to the fucking future.
Yeah, they go to the wastelands of Neo. What city this is?
They can't tell us where they live. They
Neo,
can't tell us their name.
Minneapolis.
Neo, yeah, we'll just call it.
Kansas City?
No, they're definitely in the West. I think they're in California.
Really?
Yeah, because there's a beach nearby.
Okay.
Bears are around.
What about like a Texas area? Do you think it's...
What fucking coast is...
The Gulf of Mexico.
Oh, yeah. Oops.
I'll cut that out.
No, you can let them know how dumb I am. It's fine. I don't mind being dumb. I'm very dumb.
You'll be a smart boy.
Look, if I'm smart enough to save a child's life, I can be dumb about Texas's coasts.
Okay, so listen. You know Ben Carson's a surgeon, right?
My own personal theory is that Joseph built the pyramids in order to store grain. Now, all the archaeologists think that they were made for the pharaoh's graves, but, you know, it would have to be something awfully big when you stop and think about it. And I don't think it would just disappear over the course of time to store that much grain.
I don't like this anymore. I'm dumb. But he warps them to the future.
Listen, pyramids are there to store grain. I don't see what's so complicated about it. They have a big hole in the middle.
No. They warp to the future.
Yeah.
The sky's yellow and green with little patches of blue. Trees are dead or dying.
It's been geoformed to like look like a Yerk homeworld, right?
Yes.
That's the whole idea of all
Yes.
this.
They're at the school. It's completely destroyed. They walk around. They see a skeleton in one of their classes. They're like, whoa, I wonder who that is. I wonder if that's our teacher, Miss Paloma. Which, 2 things. The drink Paloma, absolutely delicious.
Yeah.
2, the only Paloma I've ever met, kind of dumb, but very polite.
It's a simple name. It feels like a Polly. Oh, wait, no. Prescott Polly.
Prescott Polly. I love her.
Yeah.
So
they go around, they find some cool skeletons.
yeah, they're like, oh, these cars are full of skeletons. Everything's destroyed. And they're like, what's this glass tube? Let's just follow this glass tube.
Yeah, well, they go to the future. They see the the beginning of Terminator 2, where it's just like everything, like all the grass is dead. Like there were just like pod people walking around, and hope is dead. Nobody's smiling. Puppies are gone as well. Like all animals are gone. There's just like glass tubes everywhere, and they're just like all the buildings are ruined, and like there's like silicone graphics, and just like it's all lifeless.
So that's what they find.
Yeah.
That was gold.
Okay.
That's what they find. And they're like, let's go to the fucking mall. They're
Yeah, why are they going to the mall?
like, hey, we're near the mall. Hey, there's school. Let's go to the mall.
Because honestly, that's all they know what to do is just go to the mall. And usually it solves all the problems.
They go to the school. They're like, no, me teen brain, school not good. Mall good. We go mall.
Here's the thing.
That's my Jake.
It's worked out every time.
It's worked out every single time.
So many things happen in that mall, which are just like, yeah, that worked out because like Yerks have a secret base there. Rachel had a gymnastics show at the mall. That's when Tobias had her freak out.
God, the mall is
and
everywhere.
like the mall is where like shit happens. Taste was at the mall.
Taste. Cinnamon buns.
Yeah, they go to the Radio Shack in the mall. Everything happens in that mall.
So they go to the mall and they realize the only thing left standing is the Sears. Ha ha! Joke's on you, Catherine Alice Applegate. There ain't no Sears left.
Well, it gets even better too. Like they're okay. So they go to the Sears. There are holes perfectly round, about 6 feet across. They've been drilled into the size of 4 big department stores. There were 6 or 8 holes in the JCPenney. The same with the Sears, and from the holes emerged Taxxons. So, like, there's just like holes in this building, and Taxxon are kind of crawling all over the place through it. They crawled in on the holes. They slithered to the ground up. Like, so it's just infested with
it's a
centipedes.
Taxxon nest. The mall has become.
Yeah.
And Axe is like, I better turn into a human just in case, because Yerks hate Andalites. They're like, okay.
Everything hates Andalites.
So Axe turns into a human.
Yeah.
And he says, it's sad about the mall, Axe said, now mostly human. They had excellent foods for tasting. Tasting. The Elemist showed us much of what was excellent in your species and your planet, but he did not mention the sense of taste. Cinnamon buns. And chocolate, too. Yeah, we have to try to save any species that can invent the warm cinnamon bun, I said.
Like, this is a great advertisement for Cinnabon. Like, I want a Cinnabon right now.
It's like Axe is right. Cinnamon rolls, my favorite. One of my favorite desserts.
Yeah, it's a shame that all the cinnamon and flour has been taken by the United States government.
Yeah.
This will be a funny running gag.
Hey, you know what? All hail God Emperor Trump. He's going to save us.
Yeah, his third term is looking really good.
Man, third term's good. Fourth term is even better.
Yeah.
Fifth term, I'm really looking forward to that.
Sixth term, not great.
No, he kind of starts to sag.
Well, no, it was Don Chip Jr. You remember, right?
Oh, God, that's right.
Yeah, and then, like, we all had to, like, laugh at his dumb jokes, and then where, like,
Hold on. The Baron Zeppelin's coming around.
Oh, shit. Oh, yeah, there it goes. Hey, can I have some food?
Hey, do
you have any food?
You can grab my pussy if I could have a piece of pie. They're at the mall. Axe turns into human, laments the death of cinnamon rolls, the greatest death of all.
Right.
And they're like, let's just take this Yerk train.
Well, yeah, because they're playing the role as controllers now.
Yeah.
They're like,
we'll just pretend to be controllers. They're all that's left.
Right.
Let's see what this world has to offer. So they take a super fast, almost light speed train downtown.
Well, another Futurama thing, right? Like they take the Futurama elevator that just kind of like zips across.
And this is pre-Futurama. So Futurama, hey, send us a check. We will definitely send it to Kathy Apples. $30.
$30. That's the going fee for any.
That's it.
That's our IP rules. Give us $30.
Please. Hey, if you're listening to this, send us $30.
Hey, if you're trying to sell this, just give us $30.
Look, regardless of what you do, give us $30.
Yeah.
So,
but the Cavassier, it cost about $38.
No way.
So we should like say $38.
Send us 1/2 of Cavassier. It's fine.
So they're speeding down the tubes.
They're speeding down the tubes. Like, whoa, man. Even though this is a socialist communist country, their public transit works very well.
Yeah, they go from A to B really quickly.
Yeah, it's like they got good transit.
Yeah.
Fine. They end up downtown and like, whoa, like some of the
Whoa.
yeah,
Hey.
a lot of the buildings are gone. Everything's destroyed.
They notice a yerk pool on
Yeah,
the way
they
over.
see this giant like building with like a glass dome on top.
Yeah.
They see the arena, which has been turned into just an open air yerk pool. Just
I imagine it's like an orgy, right? Like
yeah, like
'cause, like,
yerks are in the water just fucking.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is just this planet now. And then it happens. They're walking around.
Okay.
Rachel bumps into some controller. He's like, hey, what the fuck is wrong with you? Get away from me, bitch. Sorry, I'm spicing it up. They don't say that in a kid's book. And the controller's like, excuse me? What did you just say? And she goes, oh, nothing. I'm just here with Visser 3.
Yeah, which is like a bad plan.
Yeah, it's a bad plan. And the controller's like, Visser 3? And Rachel's like, yeah, look. And then Axe starts to morph back into an Andalite.
Right, which is like some quick thinking on Axe.
Yeah, Axe.
Like, that's impressive.
And the controller's like, actually it's Visser 1, but okay, I'm scared, bye, and runs away. And they're like, oh, I guess Visser 3 is Visser 1 now. Axe stays an Andalite. All these controllers are fucking looking at them.
Because of course he's gonna go up that ladder. Are you kidding me?
There's no way.
I'm surprised he's not Visser 1 now. He has an Andalite. He loves killing.
He should be our leader. Either way, from the heavens,
Yes.
a bug ship arrives.
Right, the clouds part and then a bug ship lands.
Rachel says she's drawn to it.
Well, they feel something, right? Like, here, I'm going to read this. We swaggered up to the bug fighter like the bosses of all the world. Then the doors of the bug fighter opened. I stopped. Axe stopped as well. The others crowded behind us. My skin was tingling. My hair felt like it was standing up on end. I knew something was about to happen, something awesome and horrible. And then they stepped from the bug fighter. A human and an Andalite. I knew the Andalite. We have met. I could feel the dark dread that emanated from him. Visser 3. The real Visser 3. Seeing Axe along with Visser 3, the crowd of the controllers immediately knew the difference. Visser 3 had an Andalite body, but there is no mistaking him for anything other than a creature of pure evil.
Well, Visser 3 said to the person with him. Right on schedule.
Like,
just as you said it would be.
They didn't need to know who was in that ship. Because they already knew. It was like, oh, that thing that's emanating pure evil? Yeah, that's probably Visser 3's ship.
Yeah. Oh, I'm drawn to this thing that's just sending out waves of hate and death. I wonder what it could be. And then she continues, I stared at the human. She was a pretty young woman, maybe 20 or 22 years old. She had blonde hair cut short. She wore no makeup. Her clothes were plain. I had stopped breathing. My heart had stopped beating. I tried to swallow but couldn't. Hello, Rachel, the woman said to me. Hello, Rachel, I replied.
Dun, dun, dun.
She meets herself with
Yeah.
Visser 3.
And like first step, if you ever meet yourself, like don't touch the other person.
No, you'll turn into a puddle of goo.
You'll be time copped. Don't
get-
be time copped.
Hey, this podcast, we have a few cardinal rules.
Okay.
1,
Yes.
good vibes only.
Okay.
2, Jake sucks.
Yes.
3, all yerks are cops.
Okay.
And 4, don't get time copped.
I was gonna say don't touch yourself, but yeah, that one's better.
Oh, this is a pro touching yourself podcast. Have you listened to it? Fuck.
But you saw time cop. When you touch yourself, you glob.
You can touch the self. You can touch yourself as you currently are. But if you ever see yourself with someone like outside of your own body, don't touch that.
But see, that's too long of a description. Let's just say don't touch yourself.
I can't in good conscience give that
Rule
advice.
4: don't touch yourself. Don't touch yourself.
Okay, that's the rule. Rule number 4 of Animorph Time with Nate and Tyler: do not touch yourself.
It's good advice.
So Rachel continues into chapter 21. I knew it was me as I would be in the future. I knew you were coming, the future Rachel said. After all, I was you. Once I stood right where you stand now and looked just like you look now and saw myself as I am today.
It's a great image.
Yeah.
The idea of like seeing yourself defeated
Uh-huh.
is a thing.
And they
I know because I look at pictures of my younger self and then I look in the mirror.
Oh no. Please don't make me do that. He was so happy, little me.
defeated. Now you're like older and you're wearing simple clothes.
And they put it together really quick that this Rachel's a controller. And she's like, yeah, I am a controller. You lost, bitch. And then Visser 3 was like, if only I knew you were humans, I would have fucked your shit up earlier. And it's like, yeah, I bet you would have, guy.
He's great.
And they...
I'm glad he shows up. Like, I was wondering at this point in the book whether or not like he'd make an appearance.
God, this book needed a hot injection of Visser 3.
It really did.
Really bad. And he does not disappoint. He describes probably the most evil thing Visser 3 has ever said. He says, yeah, we won. We took your friend Tobias.
Oh,
we killed him.
Yes.
I made all of you controllers, and then we barbecued that bird. And I put barbecue sauce on him, and I ate him. I think you had a wing. You all laughed. And I'm like, mother of God.
Yeah, I know. I read that. I'm like, that's the most evil shit.
I read that, and I thought, they massacred my boy.
Well, think about it. They didn't just kill him. They cooked him alive and then fed him to his friends.
Yeah, and the
like,
Yeerks made them laugh.
Right, because the Yeerk was controlling it, but they could feel everything.
They felt
they saw everything.
And we know that the Yeerk controls every sensory detail. He probably made them taste their friend.
Oh, yeah, totally. 100%
taste. I bet Axe loved it. Secretly, I bet Axe secretly loved it.
I mean, he loves every taste. He just loves
good.
every taste.
Let's be honest. Some cooked bird sounds pretty good, and
but
Axe loves taste.
That is some Titus Andronicus shit. Where, like, I'm going to cook your friend and make you eat him.
And let me just read to you. Do you know what I did when I finally caught you and your little band of Animorphs? Do you know what I did? I gave each of you to a trusted lieutenant. And once you belonged to us, once you were mine, I killed your bird friend here and we roasted his body. Visser 3 leaned close to me. He was tough and stringy, but we added a sauce you humans have. Barbecue, I believe it's called. And then your friend Tobias was delicious. You had a leg, as I recall. You ate it and laughed. This guy fucking rocks.
I know. He is so evil.
He's a fucking monster.
I honestly cannot name anyone more evil than Visser 3.
Evil
And loving it.
He's just purely evil.
But before when I was like first experiencing Visser 3, I was relating him to the Emperor in Star Wars.
Mm-hmm. He's worse than the Emperor in Star Wars.
He's so much better though. Like worse.
Worse. He's more evil, but better.
He loves inflicting pain and eating his enemies.
He eats his enemies.
And it's so good. I want more. I want that Visser 3 book that doesn't exist.
It exists.
Hell yeah.
It definitely exists.
Hell yeah.
Don't worry about it. We'll get to it.
Oh, man. We should have a Visser 3 book countdown.
Oh, my God. I love Visser 3. But it's fine.
He's Innis 226 is fine too.
No, he's no Visser 3. Let's be honest. Innis 226, not a Visser 3.
Visser 1 is okay.
Yeah, you'll see.
All right.
But I mean, we're looking to the future here, and there ain't no Visser 1 other than Visser 3.
Yeah.
So you know what our boy's gonna do?
Eat Visser 1.
You're Bane. Probably. I don't know.
He fucking like eats his enemies. It's so good.
The group realizes.
They realize how bad they lost.
They realize how bad they lost, but they also realize that in the current moment, they are invincible. Because they know...
I don't know if I bought this entirely.
I mean...
Because, okay, so this is some time shit.
And so we got to travel shit.
We got to do the time travel shit conversation.
Right.
Okay, so we know that we made it to this point.
Right. We know this is a possible future.
Right. So they can't kill us because then they would be killing themselves.
Yeah, because they're changing this future.
Right. So if, say, Visser 3 ate, actual Tobias,
right,
the real human Tobias right now, how would that affect the future? We don't know. Maybe they would get so angry that they would win.
Right.
I guess like the uncertainty is kind of what they're leaning on.
Right. And even so, there was a moment when Axe turns into Axe that controller Rachel looked at Axe, got confused, and then looked back at Rachel. Mm-hmm. Because something's not right.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly like controller Rachel told Visser 3, and controller Rachel figured that out.
Right. And the difference was Axe, right?
The difference was Axe.
Okay. Axe wasn't there in their past, I guess.
Right.
Okay.
So getting Axe changed some of this future.
Right.
So they know something's not right. Our gang of Animorphs puts that together, and they're like, you can't touch us. We're going to fuck you up and we're going to fucking kill you and you can't fucking touch us.
Here's the thing, though. I would actually, if I were Visitor 3, I would just like, let's kill them all.
I mean, yeah.
Right, because like that
if
would
I were
solve,
Visitor 3, I would have just slit all their fucking throats with my tail right there.
like, because that would solve all the problems.
That's
is
done.
Just kill
They
it all.
win.
Yeah. Why else would you come down to like the planet and say like, okay, hey, look at all these Animorphs that are coming back from the past, except for to kill them.
That's
blast their ass.
That's what it should have been. But Visitor 3 is like, actually, you know what? I'm going to peace out. I'm going to catch you later, dog. And Rachel's like, oh, no, you don't.
See, I don't like that. I don't like Visitor 3 like running
No,
away.
that did not
like,
feel right. Because I was like, Visitor 3, better kill them all. Like, I thought.
My headcanon is this, because I need to fix this for Visitor 3. Visitor 3 did not run away.
No, Visitor 3 pulled his tail, about to kill them in one swoop. The Elemist stops it.
Right. That's what happened.
That's let's make
You're not going to read this book, person listening to this.
You're not going to read this book. You're never going to know that Rachel turns into a bear, starts eating Visser 3, and that's when the Elemist stops it. You'll never know that.
Yeah.
All you'll know is that Visser 3 had them, and the Elemist stops it.
Right.
And they say, yeah, okay, let's quit this war. Let's be done. We see what the future is.
We saw the hell future, and we don't want to eat our friend.
Yeah, we don't want to eat Tobias. Hey, let's just peace out.
Yeah, and
nothing.
Can you blame them?
No,
like, because think about the reality of what they saw. They saw a bunch of cool skeletons that were their friends and family. They saw the hellscape that became, and they saw. Like Vista 3 described to them what happened to them.
Yeah.
Either you're all of you are controllers, which Jake knows now that's not a great way to go.
They didn't see a single controller they recognized either.
Yeah.
So maybe Jake's brother isn't there. Maybe Chapman's not there.
Right. Vista 3 has a habit of just blasting randos. So maybe they got blasted. Maybe Tom?
Tom, yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, maybe Tom got killed just randomly. Like, so there's like, we're done. We know that we can't win this.
They can't.
We saw the future. So they yell, Analyst, we give up. And like nothing happens.
Nothing happens because there is no God to save you.
Right. God was just messing with you. He was bored.
Yeah, he's like, sorry, bye.
I just want to see that, hey, you guys fucked up. Bye.
Bye. You chose wrong, dumb bitches.
It was the other cup. It was the wooden one.
Right.
Now you're old.
They go to school. Nothing happens.
Yeah, because what else are you going to do?
They go back to their barn. They realize nothing happens. They realize it was all bullshit.
Yeah.
And
so, like,
nothing happened.
All you can do is just continue on with life. Like,
They continue on. They go to school.
Yeah.
Cassie and Rachel are sitting in Miss Paloma's class. And they bring up that dumb thing of, well, what if a butterfly in China flapped its wings?
Yeah. They bring up the butterfly effect.
Yeah, the butterfly effect.
Not a bad movie, actually.
I mean, I definitely prefer the ending where he killed himself in utero.
Yep, that was a good one.
That was the best one. And honestly, I think this book makes the best out of a really dumb theory. And that...
Well, let's actually state explicitly what
they're in the class and they're talking about this chaos theory, the butterfly effect theory.
Yeah.
And the teacher looks directly at Rachel and says, sometimes a butterfly just flaps its wing and it creates chaos elsewhere. Sometimes butterfly. And she's like, what the fuck? She feels something weird.
Yeah.
And everybody else can kind of pick up that it's weird. And then class just ends. And Cassie's like, well, that was fucking weird. And Rachel's like, yeah, that was really fucking weird.
At first I felt like it was this was only for Rachel. She was like kind of just like melting a little bit, but it turns out everyone else saw it.
Everyone else saw it.
Miss Paloma's weird.
Yeah, she's
right
kind of
now.
weird, focusing on me, whatever. I guess I'm going to go home. Goes home, goes to sleep. Rachel dreams, and she realizes she saw something in the future.
Yeah.
She saw
she
something
got
important.
She got a hint.
She wakes up and she realized, wait, that wasn't for nothing. He was showing us something.
Yeah.
And I know what it was.
See, like, that's optimistic interpretation of it. Like, I think I'm a natural pessimist. So if I had the hell future shown to me, I'd be like, oh, God's cruel and wants to mess with my brain. Like, I wouldn't be thinking, like, God is showing me a sign. I'd be like, man, God's a prick.
Yeah.
This sucks.
Man, God really fucked me here. Yeah. And now I just get to wait for this to happen? Shit.
But like Rachel's a fighter, so she's like looking for the hope that is there.
Yeah, and so she wakes up realizing, you dumb bastard, I've done it. You dumb son of a bitch. I figured it out. So
I figured out your dumb God puzzle.
I figured out your complicated gizmo. Fish biscuit. God, I hate myself.
Lost is good.
How long did it take? A couple hours. Only took the bear 10 minutes. Fish biscuit. Fish biscuit. Ah!
Hey, you know what? It's relevant because we're talking about a bear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So she gathers the group together in the middle of the night.
Right.
She's like,
they're
goodbye,
all
Simon Owl. He's like, oh, bitch, not again.
Yeah, she does it again. It's great.
He's like, God damn it, I told you not to fucking do this. He's like, come on, we gotta go. They go to Marco's. They open his window as birds. Fucking flips out. They all get to Cassie's barn. And he's like, you dumb Animorphs. You dumb fucking Animorphs.
Yeah.
The Elamists didn't take away our future. He showed us we can change this. Because Terminator 2, no fate but what you make. She's like, okay, you dumb fucks. The Elamist acts you're wrong. He doesn't want to just screw with us. Mm-hmm. He's trying to show us what we need to do without telling us what we need to do. He's trying to save us without saving us.
Yeah, but why though? Why not just tell them what to do?
I guess we just have to read 48 more books and find out.
It's because they need to come to the decision themselves, otherwise they won't grow.
Yeah.
Because I've read a book before.
Because they need to make the decision. And they even say the Elamist didn't want to save us. He wanted us to choose this.
Yeah.
And he showed us where the Kandrona is. And they're like, what? Did that happen in the book?
Huh?
What? Kandrona? And he says, yeah, when we were in Hell World, which we got to start calling it Hell World.
That's what it was.
We saw the tower with the glass dome on top. That's the EGS tower.
Yeah.
That's where the Kandrona is. And they're like, God damn, you got a big fucking brain there, Rachel.
I mean, here's the thing, though. It's a tall glass tower.
Well, there was a glass there was a glass dome on top. It was the one building still completely intact.
Yeah.
So they put it together. That's where the Kandrona is.
Right, but I'm thinking, like, if I live in a town, a medium-sized town, I would know which tower is housing, like, an important thing.
Right.
They could just, like, it's there. It's in the big tower that's black and has a bunch of guards around it.
Well, they're dumb. They're dumb children. What do you want?
Yeah, I guess.
And
so they come up with the caper. They know what they need to do now.
And the way they use this stupid butterfly fucking theory bullshit was Rachel just blurts it out. She says, a butterfly doesn't know when it's changing anything. A butterfly just does what a butterfly does. So we're going to go be butterflies and destroy the Kandrona.
Nobody expects the butterfly.
Whether or not that helps us in the end, we don't know. But we're going to do what Animorphs do. We're going to disrupt yours.
Yeah, you can only be what you are.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, so that's a really good point to this. Yeah. That's a nice take on this dumbass bullshit.
Yeah.
And so they go to that tower.
Yeah, they go to the tower, and like the way they have this caper is great. I love, like, out of all the, like the heists that they've done, I think this is the best one because there's zero plan.
Yeah, there's like, we're gonna go there and fuck this up.
They're like, all right, there's a guard there. Let's kill him. and they go up and like smoke this guard.
Yeah. They send Marco up in gorilla form, and he's like, hey, is this where the masquerade is? And the guard's like, you Andalite scum. And he's like, all right, so you're a Yerk. This makes things simple. And he punches through the window, fucking wrecks this guard.
Here's the thing that gets me. They know that there's a human in there.
Yeah.
It's just like, ah!
Well, they don't kill him. They just...
Well, no, they kill him.
They kill him.
Like, it's like, oh, you're a controller? Working with the enemy, huh? It's like, no, it might be, you know.
Bet you wondered what you'd look like with a smashed head, huh?
Oh, no. Ah, my life is pain. And
they knock this guard out.
They kill this dude.
They're like, well, let's go to the freight elevator because Jake's a tiger. Rachel's a bear.
They have a lot of weight.
Yeah, they got a lot of weight. So they go to the freight elevator, and it's Rachel... bear, Jake tiger, and Marco is the fucking gorilla riding up to the roof.
Yeah, and they have that trope where there's bored in an elevator.
Yeah, they're just like chilling, and Jake's like, "Well, I can't work the buttons," and Rachel's like, "Hold on, I got this," and very carefully uses her long ass bear claw to hit the button. She's like, "I did it." This is a nice little detail.
Yeah,
So they go to the top floor. They come out. Hork-Bajir controllers everywhere.
Right.
And Rachel's like, "Okay, I'm just gonna let this bear take over." She barrels into these. What?
Barrels.
Oh no.
You've done it.
I did not even mean to do that. She barrels into the Hork-Bajir, sends them flying. They're slashing at her, fighting her.
Well, like, so is it this point where they realize, like, no, we're going to be overwhelmed quickly?
Yeah.
Like, they run in and they're like, it's
there's
like
8 of them, 8 Hork-Bajir, 5 of them total.
Right.
And they're like, "Oh, we're getting overwhelmed." And Rachel's like, "Oh, no, we're not." She goes absolute ham bear mode. Marco gets his gut slashed open. Do you remember that?
Yeah, entrails pouring out.
So we get some great Hork-Bajir language.
Yeah.
"Kill the Goffner Andalites," a Hork-Bajir cried in a weird mix of languages that they use. "Kill Frogant Andalite, Halaf, kill all." Suddenly I realized I was cut. Searing pain radiated from my shoulder. I swung my paw and hit the Hork-Bajir in the head. He fell, but as he fell, he slashed with his Tyrannosaurus feet and ripped a second cut in me.
Arrgh!
From that point on, it was a nightmare of terrible images that seemed to float in and out of my hazy vision. I saw Cassie with her bone-breaking jaws sunk into the throat of a Hork-Bajir. I saw Axe, his tail like a deadly bullwhip, lashing, cutting, lashing again, till one of the Hork-Bajir stood screaming, holding his own severed arm. I saw Jake and a Hork-Bajir locked in deadly embrace as they rolled and slashed each other with superhuman speed. I saw Marco fighting with one arm as he held his own sliced stomach together with the other hand.
This is like fucking Normandy. Like this is like, you know, and Marco was looking for his arm and he found it, but he didn't know what to do with it. Like, and then there was someone. So Jake was out there crying for his mother and then dying.
And Rachel does my favorite move this entire book. She lifts a Hork-Bajir up, throws him out the fucking window.
That was great.
And what happens? Our boy Tobias comes flying in with a sear and immediately takes Hork-Bajir's eye.
Oh, yeah. You can guarantee every time that like Tobias goes into battle mode.
Yeah.
Like he turns like full hawk, he's just going for that eyes.
Sear! Tobias screamed as he spread his talons forward and struck the closest Hork-Bajir, raking his eyes.
Is this every book? Every book has Tobias taking an eye?
Yeah, he takes eyes. That's what he does. The battle had turned. The Hork-Bajir had enough. Maybe it was hearing one of their fellows fall 60 stories, or maybe it was Tobias' arrival strengthening our side, but whatever it was, the remaining Hork-Bajir ran. And the rest of them, they mention how, the Hork-Bajir human controllers are on the ground. They're unconscious, but they're bleeding. So
it's fine.
These things are bleeding out. And they realize, oh God, we're all super hurt, let's morph back. Mm-hmm. So they morph back. That's when they see the Kandrona.
And like I realize now that there's a lot of risk for both Tobias and Axe when they do these fights. Because I guess Axe can like morph into something and then morph back.
Right, but
Tobias would be fucked.
Tobias is gone.
Yeah, like Tobias like cannot change. Like when he gets into a fight, like he is putting it all in.
He's like, this is it.
Yep,
we're going.
Yeah,
and he
just like if we went into a fight, like it would just be like, you know,
he takes eyes.
If we get hurt, then we're dead.
And then they find the bear room with the Kandrona in it.
The bear room.
And it was
the bear room.
The bear room. So the room was empty, but for a large, massively built platform in the very center. It was a steel pedestal, maybe 3 feet high, 8 feet long, and atop that pedestal was a machine that was the size of a small car. It was shaped like a cylinder, tapered to dull points on both ends. It gleamed brightly, like new chrome, as if it had just been polished. And it made a slight, low humming noise. As I approached, I felt my hair stand on end, the static electricity. It was warm in the room, very warm. It smelled like lightning. That's the Kandrona. And Rachel does what Rachel does best. She turns into a fucking elephant and pushes it out the fucking building.
Well, they realize like how heavy this thing is, right? Everyone is dying.
Yeah.
And so like Rachel steps up, turns into an elephant.
They push it out. It's destroyed. They fucking destroyed the Kandrona.
They did it.
And that piece of shit Elemist. Do you remember this bit where he's like, ha ha ha, I said you're a primitive race and yet you are capable of learning.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yeah.
He laughs at them and he's like, They got another one coming in 3 weeks. But hey, I guess you guys won. And they're like, we did this for 3 weeks. we destroyed this for 3 weeks. And that's when Kathy Apples kind of gives us a layup.
Yeah.
Lets us have a little victory. At first, we saw no evidence that the Yeerks were suffering. I don't know how they did it, but the Yeerks managed to maintain. It wasn't until later that we learned we had done them terrible damage, but that is another story. So, I mean, she alludes that this, even though the Alchemist is like, well, I guess you bought 3 weeks.
You know what I thought about, like, during the Alchemist kind of, like, piecing out here is, remember that Simpsons joke with Leonard Nimoy?
Well, my work is done here.
What do you mean your work is done? You didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
But that's what it reminded me of. Just like, somebody taking all the credit and just saying, later.
Yeah.
And I'm like, fucking Elvis, what are you doing? Why were you here?
To show that there's a greater world, I guess. I don't fucking know.
No, and like, the Elmist isn't ruining Animorphs.
And no, and
like, I was, as soon as I saw the Elmist show up, I was worried that that's where it would go. And then when I thought, like, is the Elmist evil? I thought that might be interesting. Mm-hmm. Or not evil, but maybe, like, just kind of indifferent.
Right.
Like, oh, he's a bored child that's just having fun with his toys. Like, that could be a cool story. Mm-hmm. This is less cool. Having, like, the guiding sage just kind of, like, help him out.
Before you say that it's good or bad, do you remember what happened in the last book at the very end when the Yeerk died? What he saw?
The last book.
Yeah, where the Yeerk and Jake's brain died. What he saw?
No.
There was the giant flaming eye.
Oh, yeah.
I just want to say, this is the shape of things to come.
Oh, boy. So, like, Sauron and the Elmists are fighting each other.
I'm not going to say yes or no. Okay. It's not that simple, but it's also not that complicated. These are fucking kids' book.
Are you saying there's a great evil and a great good?
Yeah,
and they're gonna fight each other.
Yeah,
and like good's gonna work, but like not for free.
Right, not for free. Things. I mean, I say don't fall in love with all these characters.
Yeah, and like I guess my problem is that they wrap up the Rachel stuff way too quickly.
Well, I mean,
like because like what happens is like they kill the Kandrona. The Elmist like says. You bought yourself 3 weeks later, suckers. Haha. And then, like, it cuts to Rachel seeing her dad off at the airport. Mm-hmm. She comes to terms with leaving her dad. And the dad is kind of coming to terms to it. Like,
well, he says, why don't you come to the airport with me and I'll send you home in a cab? She says, no, I have things to do.
Yeah. And then it hurts him, right? Like, that's the thing. He doesn't walk away thinking, like, my daughter loves me completely. Yeah, I think like there's some doubt in the way that he smiled. I understand. You probably have something very important to do with your friends, and it was a joke. Absolutely, we have to save the world. My dad laughed. If anyone can do it, honey, you can do it. But like this conversation, this interaction reads to me as like a dad just kind of saying like, yeah, my daughter doesn't love me as much as she loves her mom.
And you know what? I think that piece of shit should feel that, considering what he tried to do to her.
Yeah, agreed. Hey, like this is his own doing, but also it's just kind of like a Rachel's gonna hurt people.
Yeah,
kind of moment.
She is.
I think it's like a Rachel just like accepting like the decisions I make will hurt the people I love. Mm-hmm. But
God damn, you're so right.
But it's a responsibility.
It's her responsibility.
Like okay, sorry, I'm disappointing my dad for the sake of the world. Right. but like, that's what that is.
Which I think just reinforces that Rachel's the strongest Animorph.
Rachel's the Animorph with the most solidified morals.
Yeah.
Like she has a code.
And she also recognizes, I think, that sometimes war is going to cause a lot of ugly, painful damage, and she is strong enough to do that ugly, painful damage. She destroyed her dad's dream right here.
Yeah. She destroyed her dream.
She destroyed her dream. She destroyed her dad's dream.
She destroyed that Kandrona and several Herpager.
Because she had to.
She's a goddess of destruction. And
I love her.
Oh, Rachel's so good. Like every Rachel book I appreciate her more and more. And every Jake book.
And every slog. It's fucking torture.
And I'm waiting for a Cassie book that redeems her a little bit. This one was a bit rough for me with Cassie because like Cassie,
because she was nothing.
She was nothing.
She fucking gave up. She's like, I'd love to be in a zoo. Yeah. I help animals and they hurt me sometimes, but I'm really trying to do the Lord's work helping them. But
I'm waiting for her redemption arc. But like every Rachel book is just like it's gold.
Yeah,
Rachel so far.
Yeah. So what do you think of The Stranger? Number 7.
So The Stranger is the Ellimist.
Yeah.
Very strange.
Yeah. He puts the strange in the stranger.
I don't like that there's a bigger powers right now. Mm-hmm. I felt like the Yorks are big enough powers, and we don't necessarily need to bring in the galactic, space gods yet. We haven't gotten to that power level. I think we're good at like bug ships being kind of spooky.
Just wait till we get to the android. Things get real fucking weird.
Well, yeah, and like I know where we're headed. Like I've seen sci-fi before, and things are going to escalate to like we're saving not just the world but the universe. And it's just like no, start your stakes small because I like the character stakes first. Like we have to save Principal Chapman's daughter,
which is what the first 5 books were.
Yeah, and those are great. And I know it's like headed towards like no, we need to save the Galactic Federation.
The end of Animorphs is like no, Dad, tell me again about the shepherd.
Yeah, it like I see that trajectory, and it's kind of disappointing. But for now, we're good. But for now, I think we're fine.
As crazy as these stupid books get, as long as there's a human voice like there is in this one, with identifiable human emotions being grappled with, I think that the sci-fi is ancillary to what's happening. That's because I think these books are here to teach us how to deal with our feelings.
Character books are the best books, right? Like these always have to be character stories, and every time they're not character stories, when it's just awful. Like when they're describing like a fire touche, or
fire gun kill all,
right? Like when they're doing sci-fi bullshit, it's like that's not the story I'm interested in.
No,
really. Like I as much as I like say I like Yerk society, I don't want to know that much about it because too much would be boring.
Right. I want
enough to give me context into how the characters are feeling.
Right. Yeah. I know how things get to my door when I order them from my phone. I don't need to know every step-by-step process how that works. I can figure it out. I know that water somehow goes from the river to my mouth through the sink.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. What I care about is how I feel.
How about this? I didn't care about the Kandrona thing at all. That's not why this book is a good book.
No, definitely not.
Right, like it is a vehicle to give everyone the motivation to be characters.
But man, when we got to it, fucking dope. Rachel bears out real good.
Yep. Yeah, Rachel bears out so good in this. Like my favorite image from this book, I think the one thing I'll take away from this book is when she's a bear going up the tube. Yeah. And just like taking swipes at a tiger above her. I just keep on picturing this like fat bear just like swiping at a tiger.
There's
just
that,
like fully gone.
There's that when everybody's hurt. Rachel's like, I'm fine. And then Cassie has to say like, Rachel, look at your paw. And she looks and it's just this bloody stump. And she's like, oh yeah.
Right, yeah. That happens at the end of the battle because like it was a horrific battle.
It was a horrific battle.
There was so much blood and entrails and everything. Everywhere.
It was so good.
It was so good. And like,
as
so
a kid
horrific.
reading this, when you see a gorilla holding its guts in, trying to smash someone to death.
Like, no, it really was like Beaches in Normandy, like kind of a battle. And I love it because it's like, it is an adult thing wrapped in a sci-fi wrapper so kids can get exposure to that. Like this is so much better than like a Johnny Tremaine or whatever.
Right.
Where it's like, oh, we're talking about a real war,
Fuck Johnny Tremaine.
Right, like that kind of a thing because like kids aren't ready for that kind of direct emotion. It doesn't register for them even.
No.
Right? Like, it kind of like if it does register, it registers in the wrong ways, It registers as a war is cool.
Right. And this is taking a vacation into a horrific world, not realizing that it's teaching you something.
Right, because think about the amount of things it took for Rachel to get to like the awesome battle. Right, it took a lot of PTSD. It took a lot of like anxiety,
her
and
screaming
stress.
at her friends.
Right, and then the way that like violence is described in this book, it's not like and I fucking punched him through a window, and then I tore his arms out. It was like, oh no, my friends are dying.
She's like, the only thing I remember are the images of my friends dying.
Right. And that's the way you describe violence is that like, violence happens to everyone involved. Like, it's not the Transformers where like one side wins and the other side runs away. Like both sides get hurt.
Yeah, a lot.
And I think we're going to see more of these. And I like this book. This is actually with one of my favorite ones.
It's pretty good, right?
I just like Rachel books, I think.
Rachel's a really compelling character.
Yeah.
Really compelling.
Yeah. So
This is number 7, The Stranger.
Yeah.
What do you?
This is Animorphin Time with Nate and Tyler.
Yeah. Do you want to like plug our shit or what?
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter.
What's the Twitter handle for this?
Animorphing Time.
Yeah, Animorphing Time.
You can just fucking find it. We have a website that you made, animorphingtime.com.
Yeah.
Animorphingtime.animorph.an.
No, it's a .com.
Okay.
I probably will get an animorphingtime.zone as well because I just like zone.
Like Z-Space.
We're getting so much Z-Pass. I love Z-Space. We'll get into it.
We'll get it. Yeah, but so follow him on Twitter, Baitnoid. Follow me, YouFurfWo. I guess I should make an Instagram for this, although I don't know why.
I don't know. Follow me on Instagram. Honestly, all my Instagram posts are just like food zoomed up real close.
It's like, if you're still listening at this point,
yeah,
like genuinely we appreciate you.
If you're still listening to this point, we probably know you in person.
Yeah, there's that too. But hey, thanks for taking the time to spend with us.
Thanks for being a friend.
Like, honestly, this is a lot of fun for me. I was reading this book last night and I was getting energized knowing I get to talk to you, and that even just something simple as a kid's book is like giving me happiness in a time when the world's not so happy. So if this at all gives you any kind of happiness, thank you. Thank you for enjoying it.
Your clothes. Give them to me. Now.
Fuck you, asshole.